Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Man, what a day it's been. Swamp Dweller had to cancel due to he has no power in Florida still from the hurricane. So Nicole Sakach was going to come on. And then about an hour before showtime, she's an EMT by trade. She got called in to work on an emergency. So she had to cancel. So this is what we're doing tonight. Tim James is going to join us right off the bat. Dirty Filth is here. And I've had a lot of listeners ask me, Dave, what's your story? So this is going to be all about me tonight. And I'm not saying that arrogantly, but a lot of you don't know my story. A lot of you have asked, and a couple of people have actually requested a show about my history. So that's what we're going to do. Race fan in the gold medal position. Tim Mothman in his goatee sharing a silver. Christine Lynn with a bronze medal tonight. Hi, Hippie Deidre. How's the Birkenstocks? And Robert Lamoth, Kitty Caddywhack. How you guys doing? Karen in the Woo Train, thanks for coming on in. Michael Morris has returned. Michael Morris will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. And Joanne, how are you? Eternity Eternal, Road Flare. And it's the return of Chris.
Chris. Is it? Chris?
Teen, how are you? Lee the B, Scott B, how you guys doing? Mel WD40 is here. He's currently lubing me up for tonight's show because apparently I always want to go into a show nice and smooth. And since I'm interviewing myself, I need to be lubed up for tonight. I really do. Bar Madison, how you doing? Simon the Likeable, Frankie B, nice to see you guys. Kurt M, Stephanie Kenny Blankenship, Cosmic Joe, how y'all doing? Les Paul Holland strumming away on his Gibson Classic right now. And Captain K-Rod. How are you? Oh, guess who's starting in net tonight?
Who's starting in net tonight?
Number 35 from Stockholm, Sweden, Lars Jansson. There he is. The Andromedan. How are you, JBD? Digger Dog, nice to see you. Hi, Paramarv. S. Vermet, what's happening? Thomas Rock has returned. Thomas Rock will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Area 51, JSCO, thanks for coming on in. It's Ozzy. What's happening, my man? Algaray over on Twitch, 6,500 jumping jacks tonight in just 2 minutes.
Ugh.
You imagine? I'm surprised he didn't take off. Seriously. Pam Harris, thanks for coming on in. Hi, W. David Page, and thank you for kicking off the super chat tonight. His birthday was yesterday.
Hey.
Happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, W. David Page. Happy birthday to you. Millennium, my man. Operation Shutdown. And who's next on our list here as we're running out of time? Stargazer, thanks for coming on in. Candy, welcome to SOR Chat. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Hi, Jace Truth Seeker. How you doing? Pam Harris again. And who's next? John Lamb. Thanks for coming on in. Sweet Donna C. and Resonate. Good to see you both here. Let's get the radio side going. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. It's a show about my experiences, my history, as Tim James is here, and we are going to talk about my story tonight. We are in roll call. Susan Alloway, how you doing? And Alien Believers, thanks for coming on in. The gorgeous and talented Kira, thank you for joining us as we continue on with our roll call. Running out of time. Leafy Nebula, Super Crazy, and Blue Cruz and Matthew Goodka. Hordes up. Let's rock, everybody. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features. Rock out Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our stream as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. As I told you, so make sure you go check it on out. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We got a fun show tonight. We had not one, but two guests have to back out, but it wasn't because they just didn't want to do the show. We were supposed to originally have Swamp Dweller on the show to bring some haunted, spooky stories as we are, just halfway to Halloween now. Hard to believe. This month is flying on by.
Yes.
But Nicole Sakach was going to fill in. And about an hour before showtime, Nicole is an EMT.
Yes.
So she is somebody who is on call in case of any type of emergency. Well, I guess there was an emergency.
Mm-hmm.
And she had to call in and basically say, I can't. So I'm thinking it's an hour before showtime. I know you're coming into the studio, Tim.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm looking at it and, what do we do? Because you can't just say I'm not going to do a show. This is a live broadcast. We have to be here.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, the little light bulb went off in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim James is with us. Say hi, everybody, Tim.
Hi, everybody. Hey.
How you doing, man?
Good, man. Good, man.
And so what we did was, I thought, I've had a couple listeners recently message me privately on Facebook. Yes, people actually still do use Facebook.
Right.
Okay. And they said, Dave, the audience is always changing. There's always new people listening in. And a lot of us don't know your story. So do you mind maybe one day doing a show about you? And I hate doing that because the show is not about me. I may host it. I may be this ugly face for radio that is behind the microphone.
Yeah.
And trust me, Radioland, it's not pretty. I'm a solid 5.3 out of 10. Okay.
Yeah.
But sometimes, as I was thinking about it, I thought this might be actually a good time for this.
Yeah.
So, Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. And how was your weekend?
Oh, it was great. It was great. My dad actually came up. You got to meet my dad.
Yes, I did. What a super guy.
Yeah. And his lovely partner, Heather.
Yes, she's wonderful.
Yeah. And what's funny about Heather is, so I lost my mom last year.
Right.
And this year, my dad, he was at the swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
And he's known Heather for like 35, 38 years.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so she's divorced and they just started hanging out. And to see my dad smiling and happy after everything he went through with my mom.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Like a lot of people will say, like my parents were married 53 years.
Wow.
And a lot of people will say, well, geez, your dad's hopping into another relationship. You know what? My dad's 75 years old.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve to be alone. If he doesn't want to be alone and he's found somebody who he's gravitated towards and is having a good
Sure.
time, he was real worried about because my dad and I are tight.
Yeah, of course.
So he was real worried right at the beginning about whether or not I would accept this. And
Sure.
I said, Dad, this is going back a few months.
Yeah.
I said, Dad, what I care about is your happiness.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. What I care about is, are you able to smile again? Are you able to have fun again?
Mm-hmm.
I said, because with Mom's health, for a long time, you didn't have fun. You couldn't have fun because of Mom's health.
Yeah, of course.
And I said, just because Mom's gone doesn't mean that you have to stop living.
No.
No. And so I really like the lady.
Mm-hmm. She's really nice.
I will say this, though. I had to give her hell.
Uh-oh.
I did. Because when she showed up here for Thanksgiving dinner, my dad and her were here for a couple of days.
Right.
She went to shake my hand.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, no.
No.
Dave's a hugger.
Yeah.
Dave's a hugger.
For sure.
So I said, yeah, that, and then she gave me a side hug, and she's like, she tries to move away, and I still have her. I'm like, no. I said, if you make my dad happy, I want a proper hug.
Right.
Proper hug. So she just smiled and is like, okay, gave me a big hug, right?
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is, man.
Yeah.
It's the way it is.
Absolutely. No, she was awesome. Your dad's super funny too. I was having a good time, and he kept calling me Jimmy, and that was okay. But what a super guy. And it was fun going out to the Sasquatch site with him on the weekend too. That was really good.
Yeah. The only issue there was the weather, because we got this big windstorm that came in.
Brutal.
And lately our area has been having like really wicked windstorms.
Mm-hmm.
And like our one area where we go out hunting. Yeah. We went there on a week ago, 2 weeks ago, Sunday,
mm-hmm.
and you were with.
Yep.
And it was calm. Everything was good. A windstorm came in there, and it looked like a tornado went through there.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like this windstorm rooted 100-foot tall trees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rooted them. Now, in about 6 months, that's going to be good firewood.
Yeah. 100%.
And it's big firewood.
That's even gooder.
Yeah. So I'm thinking come spring, I'm bringing the chainsaw out there.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be good wood.
Well, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
You're out there anyway.
And I like a good piece of firewood.
Yeah. So does your dad too. Doesn't waste any.
Nope.
Don't put one on there. Put 3 on there.
Yeah. Dad, we only got a certain amount of firewood here. Put it on. Oh, geez.
Oh, it was a good time.
Oh, it was fun. And by the way, thank you to you and your lovely wife for coming over for Thanksgiving dinner for our American audience. Yeah, it was this past weekend.
Yeah.
Canadian Thanksgiving. And so to all our Canadian listeners, I hope you had a real safe, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
For our American listeners, I hope you had a great Columbus Day and enjoyed your time with your loved ones as well. But yeah, so tonight we're going to get in, and Tim's going to be asking some questions. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Dave.
How you doing?
Good, man. Good.
And I do have to say one thing. Something happened today.
Oh, yeah.
Something weird happened today. We were going to this area looking for some wild horses.
Mm-hmm.
And we come down this hill on this logging road. And I've been on that road probably 30, 40 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I stop, and my partner goes to take a picture because all the leaves have changed color. And they're yellow, they're red, they're orange, and beautiful fall colors.
Mm-hmm.
I stop the vehicle. I have my foot on the brake. My vehicle's in drive. And all of a sudden, I started getting this feeling of vertigo. Okay. That I was actually rolling backwards uphill. It was the weirdest thing. And at that exact same time, something hit my partner where she started feeling absolutely wanting to puke, type sick.
Yeah.
At that exact same time. And it was the weirdest feeling. I don't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There was no smells, no odors. in my opinion, and I'm going to put a little tinfoil on right now.
Cool.
Okay. But in my opinion, it almost felt like we were in some sort of time warp or dimension or change or whatever. I have never felt that before. And it was different because I know there are areas in the Caribou region of British Columbia where all of a sudden compasses will start going crazy.
Yes.
And you can't find your direction. There's a military base or training base somewhere in this area that nobody seems to know where it is, but we know it's there.
Yeah.
And I've been told by people it's there. People who've actually trained there.
Oh, well, that's even better.
And in that area too, they have had occurrences where their compasses don't work. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that was in this area, but I have driven that road 30, 40 times over the last 9 years that I've lived here.
Sure.
And I've never experienced something like that. The fact, like, I was pushing hard on my brake, thinking that I was rolling backwards. And to me, in my eyes, we were actually moving backwards.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm looking around, and then, in the long version, it felt like when I looked like straight down the road, it looked like we were moving backwards. But if I would look, focus close up, I could see that we were stopped.
Oh, yeah.
Right. It was scary, man.
No doubt.
It was totally, totally scary. Have you ever experienced anything like that in the forest?
Not in the forest. I mean, I think when you were telling me the story earlier, the only time I ever experienced anything like that is that weird thing when you're sitting in a parking lot and your car's parked and you're looking at your phone or something, or you're waiting for somebody and somebody beside you moves and you're not ready for it. And it feels like you're the vehicle that's moving. And it gives it, it's like a vertigo effect, I guess, to a certain extent. It makes me feel crappy. And then, but when you were explaining it to me tonight, I was like, oh, but I've never had that out in the forest. And especially, everything you're saying, you're pointing downhill with your foot on the brake and you feel like you're rolling backwards up the hill, and both of you getting it. I mean, I might even understand if it was, you or your partner, one or the other, that felt a little weird, but you both got it around the same time.
Oh no, it was identical time.
Yeah. So
I literally hit the gas pedal.
Yeah.
And we got the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Like the only time I've felt something like that, similar,
right,
is when I have been in dream state where I've thought I've been abducted by aliens.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right.
And that's where it wasn't the same, but it sure didn't feel.
Yeah.
There was just a different feeling to it.
Oh. And no after effects, obviously. As soon as you left the area, you were fine.
Yeah. I had to pull over about a couple kilometers down the road.
Sure.
Because up here we're metric. Okay. And then just kind of pull over, get out of the vehicle, let us get the fresh air.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, when we went back, I didn't feel anything, but my partner did.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, because that's what I thought too. Exhaust, maybe, where you were sitting, and maybe
But there's no traffic out there.
Yeah. No.
We saw.
I mean, your exhaust coming into the car, but
no. We saw 2 to 3 vehicles the rest of the day.
Really?
That's it.
Huh. That's unusual up there on a Thanksgiving weekend.
It is, but
it's
just one of those things that is real weird, man. I don't know if there was a Sasquatch in the area and we were getting hit with the infrasound.
Oh,
I'm going to have to talk. I want to talk to Robin Haynes about that.
Yeah.
Because I am literally weirded out about it. I really am.
Oh, well, yeah. Why not?
Dig into her. So it's just one of those weird things. But you know what? I have a weird life. So it doesn't really surprise me too much on what's going on. It really doesn't. You've been doing this for a few months now.
Yes, sir.
You and I have talked many a time, and we've had some real personal type of conversations about this.
Well, certainly have.
What weirds you out about me?
What weirds me out about you?
Yeah.
I don't know how you, I mean, and this is going to sound I probably sound super lame. I don't know how you continually do a day job and then do this right after. Like, what do you get? 2 hours of sleep a night? Like, that weirds me out. I don't know how you continually just do that. Me, I mean, I don't have a problem staying up late and going to work and, getting up early, but every single, except for Saturdays and Sundays. That's what weirds me out about you.
Well,
dude,
what can I say? Vinny in the chat room says that you refuse to eat breakfast for dinner.
Oh, thanks, Vinny. Yeah, you're really weird. That's super weird.
Look,
so, Dave, my first question.
No, you know what? That's actually a good question about that.
Okay, well, why don't you like breakfast for supper?
No, about the working part.
Yeah, okay.
I am a workaholic. I how can I put that?
I don't know. I'm asking you the question.
It is, well, I realize that. I'm always striving for perfection.
Okay.
And I had when I left radio in 2007, because I went to college for radio broadcasting. And I had never, when I left in 2007, I left under really bad terms.
Oh.
I was being bullied. I was being chastised. Like, I'm a tough guy, bud. Like,
I know.
I'm a pretty tough guy.
Yeah.
And I don't say that to brag. Okay. But I was really bullied.
Mm-hmm.
And when I left radio in 2007, I left. I walked away. I didn't even know what a podcast was.
Right.
Okay. I didn't know how to download it because remember the old iPods?
Oh, yeah.
And the iPod Nanos were the thing, and downloading that. I didn't understand that whatsoever.
No.
And it was well beyond my secondary career that I chose at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until I started having my own experiences that a former friend of mine recommended going and starting an online radio show.
Right.
And, hard to believe we're coming up 10 years on it.
Yeah.
10 years on this. And man, we've had some good people on this show. Incredible awesome people on this show. So it is one of those things where I, suffering from depression and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to this show, I was on medication for my depression.
Sure.
And I can tell you right now, the big reason why I'm not on medication anymore is because of this show. Every night I get to end, I would say 9.5 times out of 10, I get to end the night on an amazing note. That when I hit stop and turn the microphone off for the night, I feel like I've accomplished something. And it's not just about me, it's about accomplishing things for people too. But one of the other things that, if we delve into the radio show, what a lot of people don't understand about Spaced Out Radio is our focus. And I remember sitting down with Rob G about this because Rob's literally the best point man I've ever had on this for the weekend show.
Right on. Yeah.
And I remember talking to him about it, how we're more than just a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Everybody and their dog podcasts these days. We're more than just a YouTube channel. We're more than just that. We broadcast what is going on.
Yeah.
And when I started this show, one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to bring back that old Art Bell type feeling of being scared and spooky at night.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And that was one of my goals.
Right.
I wanted a place for people to have where they could come tell their stories, but mix it in with people who are researchers. And the show is kind of formed and morphed from that. And believe it or not, I actually take a lot of guff from people out there, and 9.9 times out of 10, I can let it roll off my back.
Mm-hmm.
But for people who don't understand the focus of this show,
True, yeah.
and the focus of it is to allow people to have a platform where they can share their alien encounters, their Sasquatch encounters, their ghostly encounters,
Mm-hmm.
their weird, strange encounters, whether it's out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences, shadow men,
Sure.
black-eyed kids, wherever. And we, over the years, have heard some incredible stories throughout the last decade. And I don't know what it would be like. Like, I've experienced a lot.
Sure.
But there's a few things I don't want to experience. I don't want to experience a dog man.
No.
I don't want to experience a near-death experience. I don't want to experience, what's the other, black-eyed kids.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to be doing that. And I watch our chat rooms. People are like, I've seen this.
Uh-huh.
Like, that scares me.
Mm-hmm.
I've been face to face with aliens, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that doesn't scare me as much as those three. I've seen Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A couple of times now. You've seen Bigfoot.
Yes.
And I don't know how I would react to seeing a dog man. I just don't know how I would react. But getting back to the show for a minute, because we're going to talk a lot of topics on tonight's show. It's kind of a free-for-all tonight. And I really want people to understand that our focus of Spaced Out Radio is to bring the stories to people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Is to bring people's experiences. There is no evidence in this field.
No.
There is no proof in this field. What we have is regular people having extraordinary encounters
Right.
that they never asked for.
Yeah.
And granted, some of it may be, optical illusions. It may be whatever that can be proved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But for many people out there, they have no clue what happened or why it happened.
Sure.
And I'm one of those people.
Yep.
I don't know why I've seen the things I've seen. I don't know why I've seen Bigfoot. I don't know why I've seen UFOs up close and personal. I don't know why I've had alien encounters. I never asked for any of this. Okay. Nobody does.
No.
Nobody does. But here we are. Right? So for those who say, you interview bad people or suspect people or you just go along with the woo or whatever. No, I'm going along with people's stories. Exactly. And what they've encountered. Yeah. Yes, we have great researchers on this show, but my main focus is I want people to know that there are others out there like them who've had similar or maybe even the same experiences.
100%.
And that's kind of what we need to do.
Yeah.
When we come back for the second half hour of the show, Tim's going to ask a bunch of questions. I'm going to open up the questions to the audience right off the bat.
Cool.
Okay, so if you're in our audience and you're listening in on YouTube or X or Twitch, put your questions in capital letters. I will bring them up.
Okay, cool.
It's all about what's going on and how I got to where I am. It's a history lesson on Spaced Out Radio tonight, all about Dave Scott, me. And I hope that you guys will enjoy tonight's show. I realize it's not what we normally do, but we're going to have fun and enjoy some spooky stories nonetheless, right here on the Mighty SOR. All right, we are clear.
So you having fun, bud? You're good? Well, that was a quick half hour.
That was a fast half hour, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
So once again, for people tuning in, Nicole Sakach was going to join us tonight, but she got called to an emergency at work and could not make it. So she may try and make it a little bit later. So we had to scramble. And so Tim and I are just kind of bantering tonight. It'll be a good show. We are going to get into some stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of a history lesson here on my travels throughout getting into Spaced Out Radio and everything like that and the creation. Dirty Filth, you're looking good tonight. I can tell that, your arm hair is flowing.
Look at that stuff, Dave. You could pet it, really, honestly. Incredible.
Very true. What's it like being a werewolf?
I'm not sure, Dave. I'm just a hairy vampire. I couldn't tell you about the werewolf side.
Where's Blob tonight?
She's sitting on top of the couch in the center because that's where the heat vent is, and it comes up. And none of the other cats have figured it out after all these years. Only Blob.
Or they just choose not to piss Blob off.
I wouldn't want to anger Blob.
I don't know.
All the cats have had snacks, though, Dave. I can assure you of that.
Very true. Very true. You told me about that. Did you give
Hey,
extra
Dave.
to Blob?
Yeah, I always sneak Blob an extra treat. She deserves the extra snack.
Well, yeah.
I was going to say, hey, Dave, remember when you guys, or when you first met me and I sent you that cartoon way back in the yonder days? The Bob Lazar sports model.
You mean
Dun, dun, dun.
this one?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's
way
the
back
first
in like
one that Dirty Filth ever sent me.
probably like 2000. Yeah, look at the draw. The drawings have increased in quality since then.
Yeah. Filthy,
I think
and I'm saying this with all truth, my man. You are,
his chest hair.
well, besides your chest hair, which is absolutely incredible, you are probably one of the best decisions we ever made on Spaced Out Radio. You really are. And hi, Juliana. How you doing?
Hi,
And
Juliana.
you are a major excuse me. Hi, yay. You're a major reason why we have success here when you were with us drawing cartoons and everything. And it is so appreciated, man.
Well, I appreciate that, Dave. I like sitting here and drawing cartoons. I'm doing them anyway, so might as well hang out with my pals and draw cartoons around the weirdos that have similar likes and
Absolutely.
flavors of the universe and experiences that I do. So why not? Here we are. Love it, Dave.
Hey, sweet Robbie G, if you want to join in, you're more than welcome to. You know how.
The old tag team Rob G right in there.
Rob G.
Get Robbie in too, yeah.
Yeah,
We
Rob,
got a party.
Get your butt in here, Rob. Troy SR71. How you doing? We got about a minute here.
A minute.
1 minute.
All right, I'm going to go deliver some snacks to the blob and everybody else
Yeah.
because the gargoyle's pacing at my feet and I don't want my feet all shredded up.
Yeah, don't piss off the gargoyle.
I know, it's terrible. All right. I'll be right back. If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer.
All right. Thank you to W. David Page and Lovely Lavira for the great super chats tonight. Very much appreciate it. And don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. go. The second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate you tuning us in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Reminder to all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, you can always check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. He's Tim James. I'm Dave Scott, and we're doing a history lesson on SOR here tonight. Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, sir.
It's good to have you here, my man.
It's good being here. I like being here.
Our weekend host, Rob G, may or may not join us.
Robbie.
Yeah, we like him here.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to kick back and enjoy as a viewer, he said. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's worn out. I think he was streamed for like 36 straight hours this weekend or something. You know.
Yeah.
The poor guy's butt is probably sore from sitting in his broadcast chair
no doubt
all weekend. But we do have some audience questions.
Excellent.
Do you have a question first? Or do you...
my phone's ringing here. Hey, it's Dave Scott. Oh, he's canceling too. Okay.
We're canceling tonight.
Go right ahead, sir.
All right, let's start off with Mama Susan here.
Yeah.
Dave, does your family believe in the paranormal? Yes, they all do. My immediate family.
Oh, I see. Yes.
My father is a little bit unsure. You could tell he wants to believe, but is a little unsure of everything. My mother, when she was alive, she was, how can I say this politely? Her Christian values didn't allow her to believe, even though my mom, I think deep down, was very psychic.
Yeah.
Okay. And my sisters, I never really saw it, my mom, but my sisters did.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And they always thought it was weird how mom just seemed to know things. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. So everybody's involved. Christine is asking, who is my first big time interview? It happened really quickly on the show. I think it was Danny and Brinkley, man who had 2 near-death experiences, was now kind of a warrior for the spiritual world, and he was a real bad dude when he was younger. Vietnam vet, came back very angry, and literally would beat the hell out of anybody for no reason. And he had a couple of near-death experiences courtesy of lightning bolts.
Oh, wow.
And that was probably one of my biggest interviews right off the bat, but you know what, over time, the one thing that I've learned is it's great to have all these big names that draw audience members and everything like that. But the best guests that I have ever had on this show are the regular people who just want to get their story out. The everyday person who has to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to work just to make ends meet.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Just to, put food on the table and keep a roof over their head.
Yep.
That they don't know why they had this amazing encounter, this amazing experience. Okay. And when I say amazing, it might be bad, it might be good.
Sure.
But they just don't understand what's happening to them. Those are my favorite type of interviews, is when we get that first-hand account.
Right.
We could talk to all the researchers about what they think Bigfoot is, or what they think Dogman is, or what they think a ghost is, whatever it may be. They're not bringing anything to the table. They're great guests, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, but who brings things to the table? The people who've experienced it.
Yeah.
The people who are shunned in their own community.
Yeah.
Those to me are the best interviews that I could do. When you can warm that person up and bring them into the fold, that they're safe. They're not being judged.
Exactly.
Now, every now and again, we've had a weirdo.
Sure.
I'm not going to lie. We've had a weirdo where that they are full of crap.
Yeah.
But to that point, the majority of them over time, I think
Mhm.
there's only been about 2 or 3 over 10 years
That's
that I was just like, I don't believe this person whatsoever.
right.
You could tell they were making it up on the fly. That's what I love. Those are my favorite interviews. But,
Mhm.
you know, big interviews, I would say Stanton Friedman, when I interviewed him,
Right.
Grant Cameron, Paul Hellyer. You know, thank God Grant has become a very good friend and mentor of mine. Brett Butler, remember from Grace Under Fire?
Yes.
Her, Bumblefoot.
Yeah.
Chris Ramsey, I haven't released it yet,
Oh, okay.
but I will get to that. I just, my fear of video editing is holding me back on that.
I get it.
Yeah. Do you know a guy, Tim?
Yeah, I probably do.
Okay, cool. Stormy Daniels.
I saw that the other night. I was like, what?
Yeah, she was fantastic.
Yeah, it was actually.
She was
pretty
out, you know, and the first thing I said to her when we got on air,
good.
I said, just so you know, we're not talking politics tonight.
Yeah.
There's nothing politics about my show. I don't even care.
Yeah.
And she was just like, whew.
Yeah, I guess.
And I'm like, let's just talk paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just do it. I don't care about your acting career.
Nope.
I don't care about your stuff with Trump.
Nope.
Don't care. I'm way too Canadian for that.
Yeah, right.
Let's just get right to the heart of the matter. Let's get to the paranormal stuff.
Yeah. And I must say, you had wonderful hair during that interview too.
I did. Yeah, my hair was nice and long at that point. All right, let's go to super crazy here. Have you ever been attacked by a Bigfoot? No. I've been stalked twice. That's not fun.
No.
The last time we were stalked was this summer, and I was fine up until I saw our bodyguard Mark get worried.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw the look of concern on his face, that's when I got scared.
Yeah.
And probably now looking back at the situation, the scariest part for me overall was when we left. When we were in our vehicles, we were pulling out of that area.
Mm.
And right behind us, there was a loud, high-pitched whistle twice. And I didn't quite hear it the first when it happened,
right,
because my front tire was hitting a puddle. I heard the squeal whistle, and I thought it was Samantha Mowat's truck behind me.
Oh, okay.
As my tire was hitting a puddle. So whistle, puddle, exact same time. And I thought nothing of it until we talked about it afterwards. No, but I haven't been attacked. But when you're pushed out of an area, and I've been pushed out of that area twice now by them, it's not fun. Let's go to 11. Dave, why are you afraid of having a near-death experience? I've had that experience, and it wasn't scary at all. It's because I have a complete fear of death.
Oh, really?
That is my biggest fear in life, is death. And just even mentioning it, I could feel my anxiety starting to build.
Oh, wow.
I've had it since I was 18 years old.
Huh.
Like to the point where when I was having an anxiety attack about the thought of death, that one day I'm not going to be here. Okay. Because I kind of like living.
Oh, yeah.
Living is really cool. It's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. And I do believe in an afterlife. I'm not a religious guy, but I am a believer in God and everything like that.
Sure.
And it just scares the daylights out of me because in the back of my mind, I have that what if.
Oh.
And I cannot shake it. What if the Bible is wrong? What if God doesn't exist? What if, Darwin was right?
Yeah.
And we're just a bunch of ashes and dust. That scares the daylights out of me. Like to the point where I used to have real bad anxiety attacks about it, where I would like literally put my running shoes on and I would go screaming down the road.
Wow.
Running. Yeah. Back in the day when I did run.
And your knees were better?
And my knees felt better. Right.
Wow.
But yeah, that's why
Interesting.
they scare me. Absolutely scare me. Sweet Donna C is asking, do you think CE5 is safe? A friend wants me to join them in a CE5 meditation soon, but I told them I don't. The first thing that I would say to that question is the CE5 asking for anything, or is there purpose behind it? It's easy to sit there and say, hey, I want to do a CE5, but you have to know where you are putting your intentions and what kind of intentions you want. Like if you're like, hey, I don't care what the experience is. I just want to experience something. Well, that's like going into a snake pit and hoping that the poisonous snake doesn't bite you. Right?
Yeah.
So I think that is probably a good analogy of a CE5. If they have the right intention and they have the right understanding of what it is that they want, okay, what you want, go for it. But I will say this, the one thing that I learned when I went down the rabbit hole is be careful what you wish for. Okay, be very careful what you wish for, because when you break, it's like, remember the theme song, The Facts of Life? You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both. Yep. There you have the phenomena, right? That's exactly what it is. And I learned that early from Samantha Mowat.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that if just because you have a good experience doesn't mean that there isn't a bad one around the corner.
Okay.
So really, it's up to you and what you think you can handle. Got a bunch of questions here.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Let's go to Louisville Charlie. Hi, Louisville Charlie. I'm going to assume he's in Louisville.
Yeah, I would think so.
I think so. I had a UFO sighting when I was 10 walking to school. I've never really talked about it, but to this day, I still have dreams about it.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's a comment, but that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Is those real life experiences, right? That's, I don't understand why these communities are shunning the people who've had an experience and just want to know what it was. I started a successful 10-year radio show over the experiences. And trust me, there are people who've told me, you know, you bring on these people, they have no proof, they have no evidence. They have a story. Well, it's anecdotal. You can't trust it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is their story, their experience.
For sure.
And for the most part, people aren't going to lie to you about it.
No.
It may not be the full story. Okay. Look, there's three truths. There's your truth, there's my truth, and there's a truth down the middle. This is why I don't understand all these truthers in my field.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, that's the one thing about this channel. I'm sorry to interrupt you. One thing about this channel that I found, and what I really enjoy about it is, first of all, being invited to join in on this. This is fantastic. It's always been kind of my dream. But the other thing is that everybody in the chat room, 99.8%, nobody's judging. Everybody's listening to stories. Everybody has their own interpretation, and nobody is slamming anybody else. Nobody's calling them out. And that's what I like about the whole format of the program, is that it's a plethora, using the Dave term, it's a plethora of people, guests and stuff like that. And it's their experiences and their thoughts and how it works. And it's just information, and it's great because it gives you a wider view, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Is you get a better perspective. And I think that it's interesting to hear what other people's experiences are, and people coming in, and guests and people in the chat room, they feel safe with the show. Right. I know I do. And I really enjoy it. And there's not a lot of other channels out there because, full disclosure, because I know Dave loves that word. Full disclosure, I have checked out other channels, and haven't found anything kind of like SOR. So
thank you.
No, this is a good thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's go to Paramarv.
Okay.
If you love Taco Bell so much, why do you live so far away from one? In Canada, Taco Bells are, at least in British Columbia, they are hard to find.
Yeah.
They are hard to find.
Yeah.
I'm one of the rare Canadians who has an addiction to Taco Bell. It's a terrible thing. Taco Bell, if you're out there, I need a sponsor.
Yeah, right.
Okay. By the way, well, let's cut that one up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's cut that one up. But I need a sponsor, because Lord knows we mentioned Taco Bell at least once a night per show here.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Let's go to Terrence. What do you hope to see for the rest of 2024? And also, we love you and the show times a billion. Thanks, buddy.
I know.
What do I don't see anything happening. I think that there is going to be a lot of tough talk. I think we may get the opportunity for one more whistleblower in the UFO world. I think we're going to see Elizondo disappear into the sunset after his media tour is over. I think that we are going to see Immaculate Constellation die off. And I got more to say about Immaculate Constellation coming up here in a little bit. But I don't expect much. The Bigfoot community is going to stay the same. The paranormal community is going to stay the same. All the eyes are on the UFO community right now.
Yeah.
What is happening? What is going to take charge? What's going to happen with the latest hearings? I don't think anything's going to happen with the latest hearings. I think we're hearing once again Tim Burchett talk tough. Now, from what I've learned about Nancy Mace, who'll be running the hearings, she is one tough lady.
Yeah.
She's a very tough lady, and she wants to get to the bottom of it. But you know what? Kristen Gillibrand's a tough woman too. And she didn't get to the bottom of it.
No.
She didn't. So I don't expect anything.
Yeah.
I expect us that when we enter 2025, that we're going to say 2026 is the year, and we're all waiting for what happens in 2027, according to major predictions from somebody.
Right.
Paramarv is asking, you've experienced Bigfoot and aliens. What other paranormal experience would you like to have? I want to fly on a UFO. I really, really want to fly on a UFO. I don't like this nighttime stuff where they come into your dreams and do all the stuff they do. I don't like that. Park in my backyard. My backyard is big enough. You know.
Yeah,
that.
oh yeah, you're good.
Yeah, you can land one in my backyard.
Yep.
And I want to have my James Earl Jones moment from Field of Dreams, where I walk up to the cornfield, except this time it's a UFO, and I want to take a look inside, and I want to hesitate. And then I'm either going to, this is truth. This is what I think is going to happen. If that scenario were to happen, this is how I think it plays out. I'm going to sit at the top of my backyard, which is by my house, SOR headquarters, and I'm going to stare at it. And I'm going to say, oh my God.
Yeah.
I asked for this. And I am going to take the shortest baby steps I've ever had. And I am going to hopefully find the strength to walk down there. What scares me, if I make it to the craft,
right,
is will I have a heart attack right there?
Yeah.
Will I have a heart attack right there? And I'm being serious. I'm not even joking right now, because that's a very serious question. Okay. I'm wondering if I'm going to physically be able to take the moment to have that happen. And if I can find the strength to absolutely do this, I want to step onto that craft. I hope I have the strength to step onto that craft. And I want full recall of it all.
Right?
I want full recall to be able to say that this is exactly what happened. This is exactly what I wanted to happen. This is exactly what I'm hoping happen. Right? And I hope it does.
That'd be cool.
I don't know if I would make it, though.
Yeah, you would. I got faith in you, brother.
I don't know. Just thinking about it, I could feel the tension in my chest.
Yeah, no.
Right?
For sure.
So that's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I want that to happen. And if I were to choose a number 2, I'd like to meet an immortal. Because I do believe there are immortals on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have any proof? 0.
Yeah.
Do I have a wish that they are? I think they are. And I think it would be really cool to actually have an encounter and meet with an immortal. And I'm not saying anything demonic or angelic.
No. Yeah.
But I'm thinking like The Quickening.
Okay.
Okay, Highlander.
Yeah.
One of the greatest movies ever. Let's stop making Batmans. We don't need 19 different Batmans. I don't even know who's Batman or Spider-Man anymore.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's remake Highlander. That series of movies needs to be remade. Okay. It really does.
That was a great movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not a movie guy. I hate movies. To sit my butt down and watch a movie,
I know, right?
it's impossible. Okay. But Highlander.
Yeah. That was a great
I want to
movie.
meet an immortal. All right. As for Matt, do you have a clip online when you saw the gray alien during the live broadcast? That would be Carl that I saw. I nicknamed him Carl.
Right.
Okay, that happened on April 20th, 2015. I believe it may still be on Blog Talk Radio.
Oh.
Yes, I was interviewing a gentleman named Harvey Kraft that night.
Okay.
And this is when I had my rinky-dink little studio that I kicked my daughter out of her bedroom
Right.
for. It was right beside my front door.
Okay.
And I remember I had a window right in front of me. So I'm sitting on the angle.
Yeah.
If on the other side of my wall would be my front door.
Okay.
Had the window here and then, typical rancher style house.
Exactly.
And for some reason, I'm a guy who always has the outside light on.
Me too.
And that was night number 3. For some reason, I didn't turn the outside lights on.
Oh.
And I saw something out of the corner of my eye move out the window. My first thought was, oh crap, friend at the door. Because we had one of those houses that, anybody could come over at any time.
Sure.
We had the welcome house.
Yeah.
And so Harvey starts talking. I put my microphone on mute. I turned my chair and I did what any man would do. I screamed and I fell backwards. And then I jumped because I saw, once my eyes focused in on what it was, there was a giant gray alien head standing on the other side of the window.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's within 6 feet of me, man. Yeah.
Interesting.
And so the clip should be on Blog Talk Radio somewhere.
Huh.
Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Kind of
Weird. We're going to come back. Hard to believe we're already through 1 hour. We're going to continue this for the next 2 hours on Spaced Out Radio. He's Tim. I'm Dave. And we are going to continue with some audience questions. I know Tim's going to have some questions as well as the night goes on. We're going to try and get them all in here tonight as we continue on with the big show that we call Spaced Out Radio. The history, one idea. My name is Dave Scott.
This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott.
According to Paramarv, they are working on a new Highlander.
No.
This is breaking news for me. Oh my God, that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh man. I know I have not said hello to a bunch of people tonight. It's because I'm interviewing myself and Tim's interviewing me. But let's turn things over to Dirty Filth. Dirty, are you there? Dirty,
Nope.
are you there?
Nope.
All right.
Okay. Well, look, everybody's just sauntering away. Here we go. I'll just plug my new book that's coming out soon. It's got more illustrations than El Zardo's book. Definitely. And it's coming out soon. It's got aliens, Bigfoot, and UFOs. So just turn on this music here. Incredible. Let's see what everybody else is doing here. Dave Scott of the Clan McScott. The McScotts. Oh, gee. You know what? That's hilarious. I should add that into one of my RPG campaigns. Yeah, there's the old alien. It's probably Carl. The old number 2. Ghostbusters attending. Ah, yes. Ooh. You know what, Joe Monk? I totally remember that. Haven't got to Ghostbusters yet. Recently rewatched Ernest Scared Stupid. It's probably the best Halloween film ever, no matter what. That would be a hill I would die on. Is that Ernest Scared Stupid is probably the best Halloween film. If anybody doesn't like it, let me know and I'll draw a cartoon of me making fun of you and send it to you. What else we got here? You know what? I'm going to grab a couple cartoons out of the old cartoon drawer here. Oh, look at this. It's October. I don't get it, Carl. Are you a well-dressed goat sucker? I'm a vampire, Stanton. It's those gray aliens trying to figure out humanoid things on Earth. We got underneath that one there. November. Oh, yes. Things that happen in November. We're on Dave's show about non-UFO things right now, unless Dave's going to talk about the weird experience with the 17-foot tall gray alien. Oh, gotta put a cartoon down there real quick. Back to the original guy there. Anyways. Cats are out of control, but they're all inside the house, so it works out all right. Some of the Titanic ghost. You know, J Truth Secret, isn't that some kind of like portal technology or something? Do a little MK Ultra type stuff. Halloween or The Conjuring. My favorite Halloween movie was actually the third one, because it had nothing to do with the slasher movies. But I also drink all the pickle juice usually before I eat the pickles, so take my opinion as a grain of salt. There needs to be a button to slow down the chat room here. It's insane. Anyways, I'll be back tomorrow. Draw another cartoon. Dave's probably still outside fighting Sasquatch. Tim's just trying to hold him back too, and it's just a vicious fight in the backyard. Can't hear him because they left their headphones back in the studio. So bread and butter pickles. Nah, you can't have any of that bread and butter pickles. Pickles got to be garlic. Lots of garlic, dill. Yeah, that's the best way to have pickles.
Hi, Filthy.
Hi, Dave.
What's happening, buddy?
Bread and butter pickles or lots of garlic and dill?
Garlic and
Garlicky
dill,
dill.
always. Garlic and dill, always.
Mhm.
Yeah. Looks like I'm right as usual. All right, everyone. Have a good night.
All right. Thanks, Dirty Filth. We love you, buddy.
Love you too, man.
Apparently, Henry Cavill is going to be playing the lead role in Highlander.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Thank you to W. David Page and Lovely Lavira for the super chats. We're going to get going here in 10 seconds. All right, here comes the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for tuning us in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Maligned. Maligned is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. So we're doing things a little bit different tonight because we didn't have one, but two guests unfortunately have to cancel on us. Swamp Dweller was originally going to be our guest. However, due to the hurricane, he still doesn't have power or internet. And number two, Nicole Sakach was going to join us as a fill-in, but she got called into work because she's an EMT.
Right.
And when that thing happens, you got to go.
You most certainly do.
Right?
Yep.
You have no choice. So Tim James is here from the UFO Report. We're taking questions from the audience all night long about my own personal experiences and everything that's going on. Hey, Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, sir.
You having fun?
Yeah, always. So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You being intuitive the way you are, when did you first start, or like, did it just come to you, or did you realize it, or was it a growth over time? Like, what?
Good question. So when I had my first couple of experiences with seeing the angel of death in my mother's eyes,
Right.
and then after that, within a couple days, my house started being haunted, and I started making these weird predictions,
Okay.
you know, and I started working with a gentleman who I now call my guru named Pascal. And Pascal is a monster of a man. He's about 6'3", about 330 pounds.
Yeah.
And he has the biggest heart you'd ever meet.
Right on.
But when he shakes your hand, he lets you know that he's not just some big burly guy, you know, who's a wimp. He wants you to know that he's got some strength. And and I know Pascal sometimes listens to this show, and if you're out there, Pascal, come in the chat room and hang out with us. I've never interviewed Pascal.
Oh,
He won't let me interview him because I want to.
yeah, for sure.
But he came over for tea, and I was telling him about all these weird experiences, how they're coming out of nowhere. I don't know what's going on. And it was about 11:45 at night, and I had to be up at 7.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Why don't we go for a drive?" This was in 2012. He goes, "Why don't we go for a drive?" For how long? He goes, "However long it takes." So we go for a drive, and the first thing he does after I put my seatbelt on is he puts his hand on my back because he's feeling my energy about where my blockages are and everything. And one of the first questions he asks me after that is, "How far down the rabbit hole do you want to go?" And fortunately or unfortunately, I said all the way.
Yeah.
And that's when things started getting serious. We started working on channeling. We started working on connection, talking to spirit. And I wasn't even thinking UFOs or cryptids at this time. It was all about, hey man, cool, I could maybe talk to some ghosts, right? And that's kind of what kicked it off. So everything over the years, I worked with Pascal for a couple of years before he moved back to Ontario. He's now back in British Columbia. That I just I worked with him, and it was very much a blessing. Him and Samantha Mowat are probably two of the most important people in my life the last 14 years.
Wow.
And it's I don't even know how to put it. There's no words to describe what's gone on.
Interesting. Yeah, Samantha, I could see that because I mean, obviously I've listened, never met her, but I mean, watched her on the show here and listened to her on the show. And yeah, she just seems to be really on it. And I mean,
she's amazing.
Yeah. Very cool.
When you meet Samantha in person, she is always on. Like when there's times when she segregates herself. When it's time to be a mom, it's time to be a mom. When it's time to be a partner, she's a partner. When it's time to work, you could see her entire demeanor change.
Oh, okay.
And nothing scares her. Nothing. Like, I'm a scaredy pants compared to her. But I also know that if something happens, the 5'3" redheaded pixie that she is will become a Brooklyn brawler in no time. It's actually kind of fun to watch.
No doubt.
Let's go to Captain K-Rod. How do you talk to someone who is 100% skeptical on anything woo? Good question. I warm them up.
Yeah.
I warm them up. And I've met a lot of skeptics and say, well, you don't believe? And they'll always say, well, you do? Yeah. Just be as matter of fact to them back. But don't overstep. A lot of people who are experiencers, or a lot of people who are trying to figure out what this is, they're so passionate about the subject that they overspeak themselves.
Right.
And I've caught myself doing that on a number of occasions.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't matter whether you know about cars, you know about hockey, you know about whatever. You can always just join in. Okay, there's Bobby G, our weekend host, coming on in. Hey, Sweets, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, man? I could not do it, man. I was like, these guys are up here. Let me go ahead and get in here and hang out with these guys, man. So
good. Glad you're here, brother. We love you around here. You know that.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're taking a bunch of audience. What do you think, Rob? How do you talk to someone who's 100% skeptic on anything woo?
That's a tough one, man. 100% skeptic. First of all, I would just ask them if they had an open mind. I'd probably start the conversation with that. Could you have an open-minded conversation? Because if it's no, then there's no point in trying to convince this person, because they'll never agree, that anything outside of what they think is reality is reality. So if they say they're open-minded, then I'll kind of try to ease them in. Because I don't know if you hit them with the deep woo immediately, or if you kind of just give them a little bit and kind of bring them in and say, okay, do you see the logic in that? Do you see how that's possible? Okay, you do? Okay, well, great. Because that leads to this, and then kind of take them down the trail. I think that's how you do it.
I agree. Let's go to another question here. Let's go to, where's our next one? Let's go to Polly here. Dave, did any of your experiences make you consider never look for Bigfoot again? No, not one. Even when we got chased out of the forest twice, what I have learned is that in our two areas that we research, and I use the term research really loosely because I'm not a researcher. I'm an experiencer. I want to experience it all. I don't have cameras set up. I don't have anything set up. Okay. I just want to experience it for my own. I've noticed that the two, I'm going to call them clans because that's what Robin Haynes calls them, clans. We have the difference between the two clans is in spot one, and Tim, you've been to spot one. They're very curious creatures.
Yeah.
Very curious. In spot 2, they tolerate us. But because of the amount of death that happened in the second spot, this is where I tend to believe that that second group is protectors of that area. And they'll only allow so much to go on before they say, okay, kids, you've had enough in the playground. It's time to go home.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe. But I would love to, one of my dreams, we talked about the UFO thing. One of my dreams, I would love to have like an extreme close encounter with a Sasquatch. I really would, whether it's 30 feet, 50 feet, like I just want to look at it.
Yeah.
And I want to take it all in. And I already know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, I know it sounds weird, but I love these things, man. I love the Sasquatch.
Yeah, for sure.
And, you know, would I hug one? Probably. Probably. Rob, would you hug a Sasquatch?
No, sir. What do you mean?
Come on.
What are you saying? No way, buddy. I'm standing in the back. Like I said, somebody has to live to tell the story. If you're a friendly guy with Sasquatch and you guys can get that close, hey, I'll leave that up to you. And I'll tell the story of how brave you were in the face of danger.
I think I'd agree with you. Go between 1 and 2, spot 1 and 2. I think if I'd want the experience close up and personal, it'd be at spot 1, because just walking into spot 2, when even just arriving there, it's a whole different vibe for sure.
Yeah,
so I think 1 would be the place.
Yes.
All right, let's go to another one here. Let's go to Polly. Dave, what is disclosure for you and how's it going to happen? I'm going to stick with what I've always stated, and then I'll get Tim and Rob to state their opinions. I don't believe in disclosure. I do not believe in disclosure whatsoever. I think it's an overused term that we are using in order to make UFOs a little bit more popular. It's kind of like, in my opinion, the term UAP. We use the term UAP because that's the popular thing to do now.
Right.
The government has too many secrets that they cannot release. They can't.
Yeah.
And for national security reasons, for information agents reasons, and names and phone numbers and addresses, so on and so forth. Plus, we don't know what they're hiding. Guys, this could be the ugliest subject of all time, that whether people want to believe it or not, I would say on an extreme case, it could bring down the U.S. government.
Oh,
it could bring down any government. What would you do if all of a sudden, and I'm throwing this out as a hypothetical, if you found out your name as an experiencer was on a list somewhere in Washington, D.C. as a UFO alien abductee? Do they know that? Could they know that?
Sure.
It opens up the doors. This is why I always say that there is this UFO Pandora's box hidden somewhere deep inside the Pentagon. I've been saying this for about 7 years now. Okay. And Chris Mellon actually came out about, I think it was earlier this year or late last year, saying that there is this like a giant room of UFO stuff that's not open to the public. Well, guess what? That's the Pandora's box. You talk about prediction.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
He claimed it.
Yep.
So if we could take his word as fact.
Yeah, true.
This is an I told you so moment.
Yep.
And in that room, we don't know what they have. This is why when I hear people gripe about the Greada Treaty that Eisenhower allegedly signed, or Bob Lazar, or Betty and Barney Hill, or the Nimitz incident, or Travis Walton, or Chris Bledsoe, or whoever it may be, we don't know what they know. We will never know what exactly they know. We won't know the technology they have gained from these.
Yeah.
To me, that's disclosure.
Yeah.
When, you know, if I go to my accountant, I have to disclose all monies that come in and out of my household.
For sure.
That's disclosure.
Mhm.
This is why I often say we're in a confirmation movement, and we cannot try to change that into disclosure. I know there are people in the UFO world who will say, look, any type of disclosure is good. No, it's not.
Mm,
Controlled narratives are not good for the people.
right.
And are they protecting us from that? Or are they protecting their own investments into the military industrial complex? Tim, you're nodding.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just the whole start of that brought up a lot of stuff. I mean, Rob's guest last night, and I mean, I've heard so much of it. I think the big thing about disclosure is if they laid out all that, first of all, if they laid out everything on the table and said, here it all is, you'd realize how much they had lied to everybody. Obviously, we figured that out. But the other big thing, it's not about them, I guess. It's about the control. I think that's the whole thing. I think if they laid it all out on the table and they saw, and we all saw what was going on verbatim, no gray areas, everything is black and white. The loss of control to any government, not the US, I mean, we're talking every government around that's been kind of trying to dictate how and what we get to know and what, you know, and lead us down different paths. I think that's the big thing. If the government loses control, that's my key point that I've picked up on. And like I said, Rob had his guest on last night. Same thing. He said it. I think we had a couple of guests on last week that brought it up, and it makes sense. This is how bad we did this. This is how much we lied and deceived you. And guess what? We have no control over what's going to happen now because, yeah. So they don't want to lose control over us. As I would bet my bottom dollar on it.
Rob, what's your thoughts?
Well, back to what you said originally, would the government fold if the people found out that their names were on a list of abductions? That means they're in cahoots with the aliens and they allowed it to happen. So, and then just as Tim was saying, the guest last night, Andrew Razowick, you know, we talked about how if they disclose the fact that aliens are here, these craft are here, there's maybe beings in these craft, well, then you have to kind of go down the rabbit hole and admit all these other things. And then it's about what are those other things? There are going to be some things that are mind-blowing and some things that probably aren't going to sit right with a lot of people. And it's on the surface of it, it's just like, okay, the government won't admit that aliens are here, these craft are here. They won't admit that they have these craft. And that people think that that's it. But it's more to it. There's a long list of other things that's attached that they have not told us that are probably really, really bad.
Yeah. And it could be anything, guys, that why haven't we gone back to the moon?
Right.
Okay. What's in Antarctica? Okay. Just to name a couple. And I'm not getting flat earth theory here.
No.
Okay. I'm getting into why are we not allowed to go to Antarctica except for one certain little place that you have to go through major security hoops to? I mean, we're not Metallica here who could throw a concert there.
No.
Right. But there's a lot of places out there. Okay. I don't buy the story that, we went to the moon, so we then scrapped everything. The paperwork on how to build the rockets, the photos, everything. I don't buy that for a second.
No.
Right? I tend to believe they found something up there, something that they weren't expecting.
Yeah. And
I still think we're there. And that's why it hasn't been a priority for over half a century.
Yeah.
But that's me.
Wait, sir, are you saying that the Earth isn't flat?
I am officially on record saying the Earth is not flat.
Okay, cool.
Well, I heard something about
Thanks
that
for
last
letting me
night.
know.
If the Earth was flat, the cats would have knocked everything off of it by now anyway.
I wanted to deliver that with the straight face, but then Tim just got me off and I just couldn't.
Sorry,
dude.
Walter wants to know, Dave, do you recall any past lives? One. That's it.
Really?
So, and I had two different psychics tell me the exact same story. So one of my biggest pet peeves in life was from the time I was 3 years old, I wanted to be a fighter pilot in the Canadian Armed Forces. And so 1991, the Gulf War hits, and I'm pumped up. I go to the recruiting center, and I haven't graduated yet. And I go to the recruiting center, and I say, hey, I want to go in. I want to sign up. You know, this is what I want to do. I want to do it since I'm 3 years old. They look at my transcripts from high school. They say, hey, man, this looks good. This looks really good. Just come back with your diploma and we'll get you in. Perfect. Now I'm pumped up. Like I'm, almost ready to go to boot camp here. Right.
Yeah.
And right after the Gulf War, a couple months after, our beloved prime minister, probably the second most hated prime minister since dear leader, guy named Brian Mulroney, he cut $16 billion.
Yep.
Right after the war, cut $16 billion from the defense budget, and they froze hiring for a minimum of 2 to 4 years. And I was so focused on being a fighter pilot. I had family say, well, why don't you go to college to get your pilot's license? No, I'm going to learn that in the Canadian Armed Forces. I don't want to waste my college on that.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I need a job because the hiring freeze has happened.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And my first day on that job, I was working in a warehouse with unloading cargo containers, shipping containers.
Yeah.
And I had 500 pounds of frozen beef fall on the side of my leg and tore my knee up.
Oh.
So by the time they opened up the hiring, I had pins in my knees.
Yep.
And I'm done.
Yep.
And I was heartbroken, like absolutely heartbroken. So I went to these psychics and I was like, 2 different times.
Yeah.
And I said, why didn't I get to become a fighter pilot? This is all I ever wanted to do. Like I had my plans lined up that I would start here and then go here. And then I wanted to do this and that, blah, blah, blah. And they said, both of them said that I was already a fighter pilot in my previous life.
Oh.
And that I was shot down twice in World War II. Once I survived, I was able to parachute out. The second time, I didn't make it.
Oh.
And that's the reason why I'm not getting to do it this time, is because I was already one.
Got it.
Rob, you recall any past lives?
No. And I was thinking, I read a story about past life last night at the end of the show about this little girl who's 2 years old, and she recalled herself being a little boy in a previous life 100 years prior that ended up dying by being hit by a train. And yeah, I was thinking about since then about what past life means, like, and is it really a past life, or are you potentially tapping in like to the residual memories of a past life that wasn't necessarily yours, but because we are all the same energy and we have residuals like what do you call it? Apparitions and things like that kind of hang around, that maybe we pick up on someone else's past life, and maybe it's not really actually we've lived before, but we're just kind of tapping into someone else's day.
Sweet Robbie G, Tim James, myself, just answering audience questions about weird and strange tonight on Spaced Out Radio.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
Hey, Dave. Joe Monk says Dave has dreams of flying a red doghouse into battle against the Red Baron. Hilarious.
Right there. Hi, Mama Catherine. Mwah! We love you. Probably the scariest video I have ever seen on past lives, and you can go on YouTube and watch it.
Okay.
Is what they call something like the children of 9/11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it is about this group of mothers who had children after 9/11, and their children were recalling things like, "Don't you remember me, you know, on the phone with you when the building collapsed," and all of this kind of stuff. It is freaky. It is totally, totally freaky.
I'll check that out.
Yeah. I would love to do a show on that one. I would. I think it'd be wonderful. But yeah, that was heavy.
Yeah.
That's heavy. I'm just, it's weird, but like 9/11 is one of those topics that I used to talk about it.
Right.
But I'm now like really afraid to talk about it because the whole cancel culture and everything, and the way like the YouTube algorithms and everything work now.
Yeah. True.
I mean, I have my own thoughts or whatever, but I would love to do that show. And I just don't know how YouTube would react to that.
Yeah.
I think you'd be okay. I think it's really when you get into the 9/11 conspiracy. See, talking about 9/11 itself used to be touchy years ago, but we're 23 years removed from then. So it's kind of, we have a whole new generation of kids that weren't even born then and that are adults now. So the conversation can be had now. It's just when you get into the whole conspiracy part of it, because either you really believe it or you think it's BS. It's one of the two.
Yep, that is very true. Very, very true. Looking good, Sweets.
I'm feeling good too. Man. Just I had a lot of streaming this weekend, and I was yawning.
3 hours, yeah.
I was yawning watching the show here, just kind of kick back. Then I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and fix some coffee here and get up here with Dave and Tim. Let's talk.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
I agree with you. I did actually do an interview with the guys from, remember the 9/11 movie documentary Loose Change?
Yes.
I think way back in my archives on YouTube, you might be able to still see that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is before we went to video. It would just be in audio form.
Right.
But it was really weird because they were very defiant against their own, in my opinion, they were defiant against their own video, kind of like they didn't really want to talk about it. And I remember leaving that interview saying, well, why are you here?
Yeah.
Right. It's one of those type of moments.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to be your guest, but I don't want to talk about any of my stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
It was weird. We got about 95 seconds.
Are you guys familiar with the guy named, his older gentleman named John Barber? He was born in Canada, Toronto. I don't know if he lived as a Canadian, because I know he moved to the States and did TV and stuff. He's in his 90s now. I just brought him up because he followed me on TikTok and yesterday, and I looked up his info, and he's a really interesting dude. I'm talking about TV way back, all these different programs that he was on, and it was just awesome, like, to be able to look into his past. But I didn't know about him until now I know all about him. Looks like a cool dude. He was on with Dean Martin and
oh wow.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Old TV.
Oh yeah.
Enrico, we're not working on coffee, we're working on tea.
Yes, John Barber. I know exactly who
is it. Let me see. Picture. I don't recognize him for that.
Yeah, did a lot of. Yeah, it's a kind of a crappy picture. But.
Big thank you tonight to W. David Page, Lavira, and Cosmic Joe for the super chats. Really appreciate the love. And we're coming back here in about 7 seconds, everybody.
Right.
Here we go with the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. We're taking questions from our audience all night long. From the UFO Report, we got Tim James here. Sweet Robbie G is here as well from After Hours on Spaced Out Weekend. Thank you guys for being here. We are going to start off with Super Crazy here. What guests would you like to have on your show that have never been on before? Oh, let me see here. Where do I start?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to talk to Chris Mellon. Always wanted to talk to Chris Mellon. And I just think that that would be an interesting conversation. But I want to expand that a little bit. My dream interview, Sammy Hagar. That is my dream interview regarding all of this. And if my show is where I wanted it to be, I'd want to do one of those shows. I like the Sean Ryan style of doing shows where you're kind of having this lounge library type look where you're actually interviewing famous people about their encounters. I think I would love to interview, I don't really, not so much about actors, but especially musicians, people who travel for a living, truck drivers, musicians, athletes. They're all big time stories, man. Okay. Like behind the scenes, you hear stories of people like baseball players going into an older stadium, like when Yankee Stadium was still around, or, Fenway Park, which is still original. And you hear the stories of the ghosts and everything in there. That's the kind of stories that I would love to do in like a sit-down interview type format, except they won't do it.
No.
I mean, look at the heat Tampa Bay quarterback Baker Mayfield took when he went to X to talk about his UFO sighting that his wife and him had on vacation.
Yeah.
And they took a lot of heat. This is when he was still with the Cleveland Browns. Took a lot of heat on that. Right. So that's what I would love to do is get more people, name people that people know. Yeah. To sit down. And I'm not talking the D-League stars who go on every paranormal show. Right. We don't need more Carney Wilson on this world or anybody from the Brady Bunch or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm talking just people.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Rob, how about you?
Yeah, no, I mean, if we were talking outside of ufology, I'll pick both. I'll say outside of ufology, I would want to interview in the same format you're talking about. And as a matter of fact, I was earlier today looking at Office Space so I could have a setup like you're mentioning right there. But something like Morgan Freeman or Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. I want to pick their brains within ufology. Man, Bob Lazar. I would like Bob Lazar. Nobody gets Bob Lazar, and I would like Bob Lazar.
One question that has never been asked about Bob Lazar? What does your family think? What about your mom, your sisters? What do they think? Nobody's ever asked him that. Everybody's asked him the same bloody questions the whole time. What did you see at S4? What did the craft look like? How many craft were there?
Yeah.
How long did you see it? Why did you get busted? Why did you go up? What about, let's get to the emotion of it all. you had this incredible job and your name has been run through the mud for multiple decades now.
Yeah.
What do your parents think? What do your sisters think? Or your siblings think? You know, that's the questions that I think need to be asked. Right? Because it when you go through something, it doesn't just affect you. It affects the people around you who are important to you.
Sure.
And nobody ever talks about that.
Good
I
point.
think Bob Lazar would be great for you, Rob. Really do.
Yeah, I told Jim Goodall he has to hook it up, so we'll see what happens.
Let's go to Millennium in Ontario. Dave, you have mentioned before that you've had experiences you have not shared publicly. Do you see a time when you'd be ready to share some of those stories? Full respect if the answer is no. I have a couple that I just will not share. And the reason why I will not share them is I'm uncomfortable sharing them with myself.
Mm.
And I just do not want... let me rephrase that. I don't know how to broadcast those publicly without taking a lot of harassment.
Mm.
I really don't. And it just makes me very uncomfortable. And when I say harassment, I'm not saying, black vehicles or black helicopters or men in black showing up at my door. That's not it at all. It's harassment from the public and the community. I just don't want that. I don't need that. My family doesn't need that. How about you, Rob?
Experiences not shared publicly. No, I've laid everything out on the table. These guys have seen all my cards here.
It's because you're handsome that way. Let's go to Polly. After reading Imminent, Dave, did it help disclosure somehow or your way of seeing it? I don't think it helped the overall disclosure movement, but I think what it has done is it's brought a lot of people, as the media tour continues, it's brought a lot of people closer to the subject. What I would like to know, and I'm sure there's a way to find out, I just have to dig for it, is how many books has he sold? How many books has Lou Elizondo sold? Last count that I heard was that they printed 150,000 copies and there were just over 30,000 sold.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. I'm going on secondhand information, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it helped, but for disclosure, that is. But I think it did help on getting public awareness out. Tim, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking along the same lines. I think it was just, I don't, as much as I've read, full disclosure, I haven't read the whole thing yet either. But yeah, I don't think it really did anything for disclosure. I think it just verified some stuff that, some people already knew, brought to light some stuff that other people didn't know. But yeah, I don't think it's really done anything that I can see, like personally myself. There's nothing that pops out that I go, okay, yeah, that really helped. I think it's the ball moving forward. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say it was just useless. I think the ball still is moving forward, but yeah, I didn't see anything, big lights and everything light up and, a bunch of answers come to fruition, so to speak.
How about you, Robbie?
I think, I think it did its part. I don't think that it really moved the needle a lot. I will say what it did do is it basically curated all of his talking points into one place, which I think was really helpful. So if you were to read it, you get the whole story plus a few other things. And but I don't think it, super impacted disclosure in any way. No.
Fully agree. Let's go to Blue Cruise. Any MIB, Black Operation soldiers, or shadow government individuals, entities, groups, organizations in your research areas? No. Guys, I can tell you point blank, and I'm going to sound like a jerk when I say this, okay? when I see these podcasts and YouTube channels that have like 280 subscribers, and the host is sitting there saying, yeah, I just had the black helicopters fly over my house, or I was followed by a black SUV. You know how many black SUVs are out there with tinted windows? You go to California, Rob, you know this.
Yep.
How many black tinted out windowed SUVs are in California?
Oh, many. I have limo tint on my car.
I can tell you this, point blank. I've been doing this for almost 10 years. I know for 100% fact that there is a very thin, probably one-page dossier of me at the Pentagon. Okay, I've been told this by people who've actually researched it and have that ability to do so.
Sure.
Okay. In 10 years of everything that I talk about, I've never been followed. I've never had the phone call. Now, I know people who have had the phone call sit there saying, what are you doing? Talk to this Canadian guy. That's happened on a couple of occasions. But I've never had the knock on my door. I've never had anything happen from governmental ways. And look, guys, we're a pretty big show.
Yeah.
If anybody's going to get that, it's us. It's not some rinky-dinky 280 subscriber YouTube channel who talks about these subjects and, I must have went too far on this show because the helicopters are flying over. We have an airport 3/4 of a mile behind me.
You could throw a rock to it.
Right? And there's one helicopter there that is dark green that in the sun, guess what? Looks black. Yeah. And you can't see the tail numbers or anything on it.
Nope.
Is that a black helicopter? To some it would be.
Yeah.
They're not doing it to the extent that people make it out.
No.
They really aren't, because I would have got the knock on the door by now.
But I'll tell you, they probably are doing so. They're I don't think they're physically coming out to visit these people, but I will say that if you are talking about something that goes against their status quo and affects their hold on power and control over the populace, they've written your name down somewhere for sure, and they're going to pay attention to you. And if they need to come out, then they will at some point.
Eventually. Chances are, though, they're going to look at how many subscribers you have. They are.
Yeah. I can agree.
What is your power on that?
Makes sense.
Let's go to Paramarv here. Dave, you've encountered Bigfoots and aliens. If you could request it, what other paranormal encounter would you like to have? Dogman, NDP, or NDP?
NDP?
I hope not.
Yeah,
no, I don't want David Eby coming to my door. Oh no, that's the premier of British Columbia.
No politics, people.
No politics here. Okay. I think we answered this one earlier that I would,
to a degree. Yeah.
I'd like the UFO and I'd like the immortal people. How about you, Rob? Let's get your opinion.
Dave, if you encounter Bigfoot and aliens, if you could request it, what other paranormal encounter would you like to have? Well, definitely not Bigfoot. Well, we talked about the Bigfoot part, but I'd say, man, it's a tough one. I don't want to see Dogman. I don't want to see probably any of those other things. I don't know. It's tough. I had the shadow person already. I'd probably say maybe face-to-face contact with the extraterrestrial being. Maybe. It's about all I think of.
Let's go to Coin Exchange. What are your thoughts of George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell being threatened for the release of Immaculate Constellation? George Knapp is an investigative journalist. He's protected by, I believe, in the U.S., not only the First Amendment, but is it the Fourth Amendment as well for journalistic freedom?
I'm not sure.
Jeremy Corbell is a documentary filmmaker who now calls himself an investigative journalist, even though he's never worked in journalism before. And I like both those guys. Knapp is a hero of mine. Look, this is when I will tell you guys a story here. 11:30 p.m. this past Saturday night, my phone started going off from one of my insiders. I'm not going to say who this person is, what they're about, where they live, where they work, nothing, because that is how I personally can get information. Okay, and trust me, what this person tells me compared to what this person knows is probably the size of my pinky nail. Okay, what he tells me.
Yeah.
So we start talking about Immaculate Constellation. So for people who don't know what it is, this is apparently a secret UFO program that nobody knows about, that's hidden well in the depths of the Pentagon, and there are very few people who have an understanding. So this person told me this. Immaculate Constellation is not a program. Immaculate is. Constellation is a sub-program that may or may not deal with UFOs or UAP. But the big program, which has probably been name changed by now, because the minute something is, when you get this top secret,
Right.
the minute something gets blurted out, the name and everything to do with it immediately gets changed. So Immaculate may have already been changed. And in Immaculate, we don't know how many sub-SAPs there are on this. Now, I'm hoping I've got this information correct, but this is my understanding of it. So it's like, you know, when you see those graphs where you got, say, company CEO, and then it goes down to an arrow president, and then that it breaks off to vice presidents and CFOs, and somehow, unfortunately, HR department, which is the worst invention in human history.
Yes.
Okay. That's kind of what it's like. So you have Immaculate up here, and then you have a bunch of side projects and programs that branch off of it like a spider web.
Right.
So Immaculate is what we need to focus on. Constellation is one of the programs that is probably, the minute it came out, was already scrapped and has been deemed. So the question is, this so-called whistleblower, why were they putting it as one giant program when it's not? And when you're getting that technically advanced with everything, how do we know that name hasn't been changed already? And it might be something like Popsicle.
Yeah,
it could be something like Rob G's red chin hair. I mean, I'm making jest here, but this is true. You know, they don't mess around with stuff like this, guys. This is well beyond our pay scale and level of thinking. So that's what I know about it. What do you think, Rob?
Hey, you said it all there. Here's the thing. This name came out. So when you get people now here in this ear saying it was this, but then you get people over here saying it was that, it's like you don't know who's right or wrong. And it's like, okay, just take all the information in, and then maybe it'll be useful at a later time. Yeah. But for the most part, don't pay attention to it, man. Just keep moving.
There is something there. But you know what? The way the UFO community is, we are so off the rails with any type of cookie crumb.
True.
We're starving people. Okay? We are starving people. And we're dealing with cookie crumbs that don't even add up to a cookie.
Yeah.
They add up to a bigger crumb right now. And until we can figure out, which the likelihood of it is we never will figure out.
Right.
We have to now, everybody is searching for anything on Immaculate Constellation. Yep. When it's not Immaculate Constellation, it's Immaculate.
Right.
And that's where it stands.
Now, here's what I will say. There was one thing, I went over this on my show. It was there was Google data that someone had accessed. They posted on Twitter that showed that the term Immaculate Constellation had never been searched for years and years and years. And then before now, it's obviously being searched all the time. But the only other time that it was ever searched was in June of 2023, right before David Grush in the hearings, right in that time frame. And so people are saying, and it was searched in the term Immaculate Constellation a year or so prior to us talking about this today. So that would probably, for me, say, why would someone search those two names together? And then, okay, is that actually the name of the program? So that's what I'm saying. How can you really know what's really what? And I don't think we ever will know.
100% correct, Rob. We're going to monitor it. We're going to see where it goes. But the chances of anything coming out of Immaculate Constellation, look, whoever this whistleblower is, they already know who it is.
Sure.
When you're dealing, because there is a handful of people in the hundreds of thousands that work for the United States government in the alphabet agencies. There's only a handful of people who know about what this program truly is. They're going to know who spoke.
Yeah, you
or who it funneled down to, Tim.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if there's you've got a very small group of people that know about this. It's not hard to figure it out. It's like playing Clue, right? It was Colonel Mustard. You know, they have to know. They have to know. The other thing is too, it's like, I agree with Rob. There's so much coming in, and it's just trying to filter it. I think it's just putting it back there and then bringing it out when it starts to make sense. I think just, putting it back in the memory banks, because following those crumbs, I think that's what they want you to do, is follow these crumbs, and then you follow the crumbs, and you hit a brick wall. So you go back and you start again. So yeah.
And the easiest way to misdirect is to create confusion. You see what happens every time something comes out that's supposedly a leak of some sort. Right after that, there's someone with the alternate opinion on it, and now it muddies the waters. And that's exactly what they want, because you're going to waste your time messing with that.
Yep. And that's the way it is. We got about a minute to go here before we got to go to break at the top of the hour. Tim James, Sweet Robbie G are on Spaced Out Radio with me tonight. I want people to know this. Those in the know are not going to talk anything about this topic. The person that I talked to about this was very uncomfortable. And I got a lot of, I cannot answer that answers. Yeah. I cannot answer that. I'm not going there. This person was very uncomfortable in even talking about this subject, because I was the idiot who went and messaged this person. And all I said was Immaculate Constellation, ? And my source was like, I don't even feel comfortable talking about this. And if you ask me a lot of the questions, I'm going to say I can't answer that. And I got a lot of I can't answer that.
Right.
Okay. He gave me what he could, but it was nothing. I mean, it's like vanilla ice cream, man. Mm-hmm. Like to this day, I don't know what the program is. I don't know where it's headquartered. I know nothing. And that's where it's going to stay. We're going to continue the audience questions for hour number 3 next on Spaced Out Radio. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we're clear. Sweets, going to step away for a minute. You got this, or do you want to step away?
I'll chill, and then I may step away for a minute. I got it. We're good.
All right. Look at, just maybe zoom in on that beautiful chin hair of yours right there. Look at that. Look at that. Nothing short of gorgeousness.
Yes. Everyone, how are you guys doing this evening? I would love to read some of your comments out here. How's everybody doing? Let's see. What do we got? Any opinions out there? What do we have? We do have an awesome super chat that I saw here. Let me see. Where is it at? I just missed it. Okay. Deb from Sacramento, Deb Rooney, fashionably late, but we're glad that you're here, Deb. Appreciate you showing on up to the show tonight. Let's see. What else do we got out there? Yeah. Lunar Sparkles. Yes, Lunar Sparkles 1. I should have escaped to Canada before passports were required. That's a thing. That's definitely a thing. Let's see. No, I saw some questions back here earlier that were directed towards me. Let me see if I can find them. Boom, 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 boom. Ooh. Okay, this is all cap right here. Woo Riders DG Dave, would you ever be willing to have me on your show as a guest? I think we know the answer to that, Derek Galloway. History has shown that Derek Galloway be capping. And if anybody doesn't know what capping means, it means being a not truth teller. As we go back, what else do we have here? I know I saw something. Probably skipping right over it. If I can't find them, don't worry about it. Just make sure you repost them in the chat, all caps. I'm searching for them. Okay, he did star them. Paramarv, Rob G, how do you reconcile your answer about asking if someone is open-minded with your desire for catastrophic disclosure, sir? So in that, when we were talking about, I forgot what the question was actually before that, but I think it was something along the lines of talking to someone who was skeptical, 100% skeptical. And if we're just having a conversation, then that would have been my answer, right? You know, check to see if they have an open mind. If they don't even try to have the conversation with them, because they're not going to listen or, you know, take your points into consideration. But catastrophic disclosure, I feel, is something different. I feel that catastrophic disclosure is ETs are here tomorrow or now. You know, the spaceship is in the sky. They're on the ground. Like, there's no doubting anyone, skeptic, non-skeptic. There's no doubt that these things are here. They've shown themselves to everyone. That is catastrophic disclosure for me. And it wouldn't matter if you're 100% skeptical at that point, right? Because you'd see it with your own eyes. So I saw that earlier, Paramarv, and that didn't come up. So I want to make sure that I answered that one for you.
We were getting to it, Rob.
Oh, shoot. Okay, my bad. Well, then. Well, Para, you got the answer early.
Well, did you answer that? Because then I
kind of did. Yeah, I kind of just did.
Okay. I will lose that question then. All right. Thanks for hopping on, buddy.
Oh man, no problem at all. No problem at all.
Yeah.
I was like, it's two more hours left in the show. I was like, let me get in here and help mix
Glad
it up
you
here.
Glad you did, my man.
Yes, sir.
Big thank you tonight to W. David Page, Lavira, Cosmic Joe, and Deborah Rooney for the super chats. I know I haven't said hello to a bunch of you like I normally do, but unfortunately, just hard tonight. It's hard. So here we go, everybody. Like 5 seconds.
Okay, good.
Here we go at the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Taking audience questions all night long. We're having fun with Tim James and Sweet Robbie G. Reminder to all of you that let's just say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. We're going to skip Swamp Dweller tonight. Get to him tomorrow. We're just having way too much fun taking audience questions. We got Sweet Robbie G. We got Tim James. We're hanging on out with you. Oh, our password, by the way, set by the Desert Clam. I've changed it.
Oh,
password tonight. Sweet Robbie G.
Hey,
Robbie G is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio.
and what's the password for?
Exactly.
exactly.
I remember, true story, SOR history here.
Okay.
I remember that I had a listener block me on YouTube because they asked what the password was for. And I said, exactly. And they got so angry thinking that I was playing them.
Oh,
Okay. That they're like, you're just way too immature and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like,
see you.
what am I supposed to do? So the password was started by a gentleman named Bill Cardwell.
Okay.
This is going back about 8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a Facebook chat going, and every night Bill would set a password. So I just started saying the password. Bill Cardwell has set the password for tonight. And the password is, well, whatever it is. And so it just kind of stuck. So what is the password for?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
There's a little SOR history for you. Let's get back to audience questions here. Let's go to, let's see here, Matthew. Dave, did you ever get mic or camera scared being on my friend's podcast talking paranormal music, etc. and get it? No, because don't forget I had broadcasting school and media training where I spent 10 years in terrestrial radio, and then I took 7 years off before starting Spaced Out Radio. So it's always been a natural. I did not want to go on camera. I really fought going on camera as everything kind of shifted to YouTube and we started broadcasting there live. Because I'm a radio guy through and through. I love radio. I love the mystique of radio and everything to do with it. And today's radio is not the radio that I grew up with.
No.
It's changed a lot, and I don't think for the better. So I really do believe that we need to, we need to find radio again. How do you find radio again? You get back to the mom and pop radio stations. The corporations
Mhm.
out there, yes, they're doing a lot of good, but on the flip side, they've also, at least up here in Canada, decimated the radio industry, where on most stations, like even in our small town,
Oh,
you only get a live person in the morning,
Yeah.
and in the afternoon drive, and the rest is all canned music. So if you have an emergency
mhm.
going on in the middle of the night, let's say a forest fire in our area where there's an evacuation order, say placed on a place at
Yep.
11 o'clock at night, you're not going to hear it. You literally have, they've pushed mainstream media's biggest fault is they've forced people to get their news from social media because of the cutbacks and the continuous cutbacks,
Mhm.
which has dropped the trust in mainstream media to where it is today.
Yeah.
Okay. For whatever reason that is. And no, the rumors are not true. There is no CIA person in every newsroom telling you what you can and cannot run. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
And I know that's gone around for years. It's
Mhm.
not how it works.
Mhm.
It's ego. It's ego. And the other problem with radio is that about 25 years ago, radio started being run by corporate people, accountants,
Mhm.
lawyers, business people, rather than people who had experience on air.
Yeah.
And that's where it changed.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Tim?
I agree. I mean, when I was a kid, I that was a big thing. My mom was huge, was always the radio, no TV. And you're right. I grew up listening to radio where I guess there was truth to it. I mean, obviously they were within their rules and their guidelines, but it wasn't kind of superficial, and we weren't just scraping the icing off the cake. They were actually cutting a piece and seeing what was in it. And so with the news radio for sure. And then the DJs too, like you could call them up and you could talk to them on the phone and request a song. And like you said, if there was an emergency, you could, they'd stop everything and let everybody know. Like up here, they used to do their daily thing where they, Mrs. Johnson, your son from Quesnel would like you to call, like it was good. And I always wanted to be in radio when I was a kid. And then, it just kind of, like I say, everything went superficial, regardless of radio, like DJs, and then into the radio news, and then especially TV news. It's just like, there's no substance, there's no meat. It's all just flash and bang, and then they move, right?
I worked with a guy named Scott
Mhm.
at one of my radio stations in sports,
Mhm.
and previous, like 1979 through
Right.
like 1983, he was a weekend nighttime DJ,
Cool.
which at that time was the slot to have as a DJ.
Yeah.
Was a nighttime slot. He used to tell me stories about how, back then, and this is going to sound real sexist and misogynistic, but he actually used to get in the mail every week, because we used the mail then.
Mhm.
Every week he would get somebody from somewhere in the cities that he was broadcasting in.
Yeah.
He'd get a set of panties sent to him,
Yeah.
or a bra sent to him, with a love letter saying, hey, after your shift, why don't you give me a ring sometime?
Johnny Fever.
Right?
Yeah.
Rob, I mean, you remember those days when you could actually call up a DJ on the weekend and say, hey, can you play this song?
Yeah, definitely. I used to call them all the time. I used to win all those contests and tickets to this and that. And so I definitely remember those days. And I'm a musician, period. So anything that's sonically pleasing to the ears, I'm one of those people that I like to close my eyes and allow things to please my ears. I don't know how that came across or sounded, but what I mean is that that's why I feel like I appreciate radio so much, because that's what you have to do. You have to close your eyes and you have to depend on these senses, the senses right here, your hearing, to kind of get the story and the feeling and the emotion across the airwaves. Eargasm. There we go. Love it.
Yes,
Love it.
it was.
Yeah,
And you also had some of the most beautiful voices
for sure.
out there.
Yep.
And I remember when I started working in Vancouver radio and I got to meet some of these people that I'd only ever heard on the radio.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I could have that conversation all night long, but we're going to continue on here. Let's go to Super Crazy. When you go into the forest looking for Sasquatch, do you bring anything with you to protect yourself from an unfriendly Bigfoot if necessary? I do not bring anything for Bigfoot. What I bring is I bring a pointy stick because certain 3-letter words are flagged on social media aspects. So I bring a 12-gauge pointy stick.
Yeah.
But it's not for them. I will not raise it for them. In fact, when we show up at my Sasquatch spot, I believe that you could communicate with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I say to them point blank, we are armed.
Yep.
With pointy sticks, but I use another term. And we are there we will use those for any other type of predatory animal out there that may not understand why we are there. Okay. Because bears, cougars, wolves, those type of animals that are in that area and other predatory animals are there and they don't understand. Whereas I think Sasquatch is smart enough to understand. So when we've had encounters there has never been a pointy stick raised at these creatures. That is the one rule that we have going in. And Tim knows this because that was one of the first things I told you.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. No, go in and and I think even Mark's announced it. I think anytime we've gone in, it's always announced that we do have protection and it's not against you. And that's, and it hasn't seemed to stop anything from happening. And
we never practice with our pointy sticks there either.
Heck no.
No.
We
never practice. There's never, there's a can over there. Let's poke it out.
Yeah, we're in grizzly country. And you're sitting out there in the dark around a forest fire. And I think everybody gets it. But we're sitting in the middle of the forest and we're not like within an earshot or a phone call to get help. We're kind of out of the way. So being a little bit smart about it is definitely the way to go because, if you've ever had an encounter with a grizzly, me 3 times, you just don't want to have that happening.
No, it's not fun.
Mm-mm.
Rob, you haven't had any encounters with Sasquatch yet.
No, nobody, not me. But if I did, I would bring my pointy stick and maybe that's the wrong thing to say or do it based on those who go and encounter them. But I'm one to just believe that if you go anywhere where there may be some danger, you should be able to defend yourself. That's all.
Super Crazy's follow-up is, what do you think our world will be like in 2050? I don't know. I won't be here.
I don't know.
Hold on. What year is it? 2024?
You're still going.
I could be here.
Yeah.
I'll probably be in an old folks home with UFOs all over my room.
Yeah.
No.
Well, what was it like when we were kids, right? You used to watch Dick Tracy and all the old cartoons where they had wristwatches that were phones. Anything that you can think of that isn't here yet. I'm thinking that probably,
And they'll still be flying Boeing 737s.
Right.
Rob, you're going to fly in a Boeing 737 in 2050, a 100-year-old aircraft frame?
Probably. If we leave it up to them and let them take it down the path, they're going to take it because that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to be still sitting around waiting for that slow drip disclosure. We're going to probably be already then went through World War III at that point, maybe, or getting ready to go into it. Or we may not even be here. It just really depends on the decisions that are made today. That's why it's so important for us to do the work we're doing now and make the right decisions, because we can make 2050 something special. We can make it something to look forward to, or we can leave it like it is and maybe we won't be here. We'll see.
Well, that's going to be interesting to see what happens. Deb has asked Dave, when in the tub, do you make your own bubbles? Sometimes. Sometimes. Don't we all?
Yeah.
Don't we all?
And then the big brown shark came.
Right?
So you're saying you soak in the tub, Dave? Is that what you're saying?
I love a good soak in my tub.
Okay.
I do. And I'll admit it. I'm man enough to admit it.
You bubble bath.
I love a good bubble bath.
Oh, yeah.
And I have toy sharks, great white sharks that I take into my tub with me. I do. And I'm like,
hold on. You have toy great white sharks that you play with in the tub.
I do.
You're deathly afraid of great white sharks.
Yes.
Exactly.
Make it make sense, sir. Make it make sense.
Now, hey, I'm getting personal here.
Yeah, that's okay.
We're,
Open up.
We're in the middle of having a good show here, Rob.
Jeez.
And let's go to another question here. Let's go to S for Met. Rob, would you go experience Bigfoot with Dave?
I would go with experience Bigfoot with Dave because he has, experience, right? And so you want to go with someone that has experience. However, like I said before, I will let him go way first, and then I'll hang way in the back because I heard they're fast, and you got to be able to, be able to get out of there, and I got to live to tell the story. But I would go experience. I would definitely do it for sure.
You know what, Rob? I will tell you this, and a lot of people may not understand when I say this. When we go out there, we do nothing. You would be totally safe. Our fire pit is in a very open area that, and the vehicles are pulled up. So in case of any danger, we all leave our keys in the vehicles. And in case something happens, we could get in and out of there as quickly as possible. Number one. And number two, we do nothing because the one thing that I have learned through this entire phenomena is you don't need to wear camouflage clothing and go hide in the forest. You don't need to wear a ghillie suit like some people do ridiculously. You don't need to go on these 15-mile deer trails looking for evidence. They're right there. You just have to find the area that they habitat. So what do you look for?
Yeah.
Our area has everything that is needed. It has a water source in a very large marsh. It has a low traffic area to vehicles. It is a high traffic area for all sorts of animals.
No doubt.
There, in that area, any animal in North America that you can think of, it is traveling in that area, even porcupines.
Yep.
Okay. And it has, so that creates a food source. It also is on a large area that used to, 1 million years ago, be a lake of lava. And that is incredible on its own.
Yeah.
Okay. Like our area has everything that we have, that I have learned through doing this show that I need to look for. It has signs of the bent over trees that are tucked under logs, or trees that are stuck into the ground, like bent over, not broken, but bent over, and the point is stuck right into the ground. Snowpack doesn't do that.
No. And these are big trees, too.
Big trees.
Yeah.
Okay. So you look for the signs. You don't need to be, pulling a Todd standing and running through creeks and setting up, camping areas where there's logs and thick, dense bush all around you. The one thing that I've learned is that these creatures are so curious. If you find an area where they are curious, and if you build that trust with them, they're going to come out. You may not see them every time, but when you're there and you park in the same spot, you have your campfire in the same spot, you do everything the same, they will come and they will announce their presence. It could be anything from a tree knock, which we had the other night.
Yep.
It could be vocalizations. It could be a sighting. But you just have to find the area. That's it. So, Rob, if you came with us, you'd be totally safe.
Heck yeah.
Totally safe.
Hey, I trust you. I definitely trust you.
Let's move on to another question here. Let's go to Paramarv. Have you had any other hypnotic regressions, anything of note come to light to you? No, that is the only one that I have had with Geraldine. I did have one a few years prior to that, but I got about 10 minutes in and I had my guides literally say, oh, no, this is BS. We're not opening up. And they brought me out of it within 10 minutes of it. And I opened my eyes and I said to the lady right across from me, I said, this isn't going to work. My guides aren't allowing me to do this. All right, let's go to Super Crazy again. Do you think that worldwide confirmation of an ET presence will unite us all, bringing about world peace? Short answer, Rob. What do you think?
Wow. Well, world peace. So I think it will unite humanity. And the problem with that is it'll stop the fighting within humanity, I think, because it'll bring us on the same page, or it'll do a lot to go towards that. But really, world peace is dependent on the powers that be. So it depends on what they do. And I think we know that they want to do slow drip disclosure, which means they want to maintain power on the other side. So if they maintain power on the other side, likely means we'll still have war, but with advanced technology. So, I just don't know that the ET president, it just depends on what we do. That's why it's so important the moment we're in and decisions we make, because we can sit back down at the table and say, hey, we don't like the way things are going. Let's try to restructure this or do something different. And if we do that, then I think we'll have world peace. But otherwise, I don't think so.
How about you, Tim?
Yeah, I'm along the same lines as Rob. I think that it'd be a start, and yeah, for humanity. But I think that it would be at least a good foundation to build off of, in respect to, obviously, getting together and being more amicable and dealing with things on a much more, less egotistical platform. I think everybody be looking around going, okay, I think that would get the ball rolling to change things.
And I will disagree with both of you.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm not saying that to play devil's advocate or anything like that, but I really don't think that the ET presence will do that. I think it will eventually.
Okay.
Not for the first 20 years.
Really? Okay.
I think that it's going to cause a lot of hell on the planet between religious people, their ideologies.
Yeah.
I think it's going to cause markets to crash. I think it's going to cause people who suffer from depression, anxiety, anger management are going to go crazy thinking, well, the aliens are here. What do I have to live for?
True.
Okay. And we're going to see probably something from like the movie The Purge.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not trying to sound dark or negative.
No.
I just don't see anything right now positive about what that would provide for humanity. And it kind of scares me. Final half hour, Spaced Out Radio with audience questions. With Robbie G, Tim, James are with me tonight. We'll be right back.
This is Spaced Out Radio and your host, Dave Scott.
This is flying by.
Yeah.
Flying by.
Tis.
Tez.
Oh, caught a mouse.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Right beside the wife's side of the bed.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Put the trap there.
Oh, nice.
I heard something last night. We got the pack rat out.
Yeah.
Right. But
So it wasn't a squirrel.
No, it was a pack rat.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, got him good. He ate a good pair of my dress shoes too, my closet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Like to see you wear those. They're open-toed shoes now, aren't they?
Oh, they're cheap to bits. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, last night I thought I heard something ticky, ticky, ticky. I was like, it's really, it's that time of year up here, right? They're all trying to find spots where it's warm to get into. And I don't know how did that got in, but yeah, during the show, it was like ding, ding. I was like, oh, damn, I didn't turn off my volume. And hey, guess what? I forgot that it was beside the bed and we got a mouse. I was like, okay.
Oh, nice.
Chuck it out.
Nice. Sweet Robbie G. He loves killing rodents.
Does he?
Actually, I let one go. It
was a pack rat.
No, it was just little baby mouses like that. But the little paw, like the finger, got caught in there. So he wasn't really stuck.
Yeah.
And my girl wanted me to dispatch it, and I'm like, no, it's still alive. Let me take it down the street. I took it down the street and let it go, and it ran away into a field. So to live to see another day.
Nice. You're its hero.
I've only had that once with a mouse, and it caught the front leg. And I was like, oh, really? Same thing. I went out and walked down. There you go, buddy.
Because if you dispatch it, that's pretty cruel, especially if you grew up in a time where, if you remember the mouse and the motorcycle, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Ralphie, and who else there was another one that was around that same time too.
Yeah.
Dang. And they were cool little night. You know what I'm saying? Come on. That's what I see when I see a mouse. I see one of those characters right there. So there's no way I could dispatch that. So
no, like I say, I caught a pack rat, and those things, like, they chew everything up. And and I was like, I got it in a live trap, and I was like, all right. So next day, threw him in the back of the truck and drove way off into the middle of nowhere and went, off you go.
Stuart Little. That was the one. It was Stuart Little, the mouse and the motorcycle. If you guys have ever seen that, you should go back and watch it. Actually, it's pretty cool. And if you see that, you'll never look at a mouse in a bad way again. I'm telling you.
I loved Stuart Little.
Yeah.
But rats, rats are horrible.
I don't like rats.
No.
Rats are not my thing.
Mm-mm.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we don't get rats. We get the pack rats.
Well, yeah.
For sure. What's the difference, really? What
the tail?
The tail.
Yeah, the packer, instead of a regular rat, pack rat's got like a squirrel's tail on it, and
okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're just a rat with a big fluffy tail. Yep. I hate them. I don't like rats. Gosh.
Yep.
Jeff Garvey says he knows the mouse and the motorcycle kid. What?
We don't have raccoons up here.
No.
They're starting slowly. There has been sightings of them, but we don't have them.
Nope. That's all down in the lower mainland.
Yeah. What else don't we have here? We don't have snakes.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have rattlers.
Oh, no. We've got garter snakes.
We got that still scare the hell out of me.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I would go face to face with a bear over a 3-foot garter snake.
Really?
Oh, 100 times.
Really?
Yeah. I cannot stand snakes.
It's like my father-in-law has passed away. Huge guy, ex-cop. And yeah, little tiny snake.
Oh yeah. Not me, man.
Mm-mm.
Not me. Don't like snakes. No.
I agree. You have to know what is what. That's the problem I have with snakes. I just don't know what it is, what type it is. If it isn't rattling, but they have so many other poisonous snakes, you just never know what you're doing.
Not me.
It's a black mamba.
Exactly.
I think the worst poisonous thing we have up here is a spider.
Yeah.
The brown recluse.
The recluse. I got bit
by one. Not fun.
No. Leaves you a mess.
Yeah.
Excuse me, the black widows down here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But the recluse, I heard, is a horrible one, right? And they infest homes and all. I see.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Yeah. Oh my God.
had a sore, like just,
Oh, yeah.
oh, it was just
Hold on,
brutal.
guys. We're coming back in 7 seconds. Thank you to Lavira, W. David Page, Joe, Deb Aruni ×2. And here we go, everybody. Third and final half. Make this the final half hour. Spaced Out Radio tonight. Taking audience questions all night long. We're having fun tonight with Tim James from the UFO Report and Sweet Robbie G. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for tuning us in. Reminder to all of you that our archives are always free. You know why they're free? Because I want them to be free. I may have a little bit of an ego about this, but I remember back in college, I couldn't afford a membership to a nighttime show that I loved because I was a poor student.
Yeah.
And I always said that if I did a show like this, my archives would be free. They're on YouTube. They're on every major podcast network to download for free. You just go get them, just like that. Mm-hmm. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. We got Sweet Robbie G, we got Tim James, and yours truly hanging out, taking audience questions. We're going to start with S. Vermette here. Good Canadian kid. Has anyone ever thought that maybe the aliens are in charge of worldwide disclosure? Maybe they would know how to disclose due to past attempts. Well, if we buy into the stories that many people claim about the Galactic Federation, and I'm not sure if the Galactic Federation truly exists, but people out there do believe this, then disclosure is up to us, that we have the free will in order to make it happen. The aliens are just monitoring us. Sure, they may come down, take some of our gold, take some of our water, play in our lava pools and the volcanoes. Okay. I mean, hey, they got to have fun too.
Absolutely.
You know, but for the most part, from what I know or have learned, I shouldn't say I know because I don't know. Right. There are no experts in this field, people. None. I don't know if the aliens are the ones in charge. I think they are allowing humanity to decide. Mm-hmm. And there's a little bit, I'm not saying there's a written contract on that, but I don't think it's the ETs that are in charge of disclosure. Rob, your thoughts?
You know, I feel like they are. Because who else, if it isn't them, if they aren't in control, then who is? It's not us because we want disclosure. So it's definitely not us. It's not the government because I don't think they have the ability to facilitate if the ETs contact us or not. So I think by default, that would mean that the aliens do control disclosure. And then one step further, you got to think back. And this is something I just theorize, right? But if you think about the past civilizations that came up, the Egyptians, all the other ones that came to a certain level of technological advancement and then disappeared. And we're in that same moment as humanity now at that fork in the road where we have to make a decision which way we go. And I would assume they had the same choices. And then it was up to who that made them disappear, right? So I think the ETs hold all the cards, the keys, and you know, that's why we need to figure out a way to get them to disclose, or they're just going to disclose when they're ready.
Tim?
Yeah, I agree with Rob. We both have very good points. I'm thinking along the lines too that I think it is to a certain degree the ETs that do give us a disclosure to a certain level. I think what they're doing is they're watching us, and once the kids in the sandbox out down here, being us, kind of get what's going on and what we're supposed to be doing, I think then disclosure happens. And I think, like, yeah, the government, who knows, they may be able to drop some stuff, but I think it's also, the ETs and everything would come down, in my opinion, and go, okay, you guys finally figured it out. And I never really quite thought of it the way that Rob did. And that's a good point. There's so many civilizations, and they always, our history says, oh, they were wiped out. They were wiped out. Were they wiped out? Were they really wiped out? Like, it seems, yeah, all these civilizations disappeared, and there is evidence of extraterrestrial life during those periods as well. So yeah, maybe it's, yeah, I'm pretty sure that when they come down, it'll be when they're ready and they're either fed up with us not getting it and wiping us out, or we've all finally got it and they're going to say, hey, welcome to, the real world, so to speak.
Could very well be. I mean, those
Mhm.
are great answers. Let's go to J Truth Seeker. What would you do in the event of a sudden UFO war? If UFOs were suddenly shooting at other UFOs, like if there was suddenly a UFO Star Wars on Earth? That's a big what if. And I'm not saying
Cool.
that
No.
to be rude. I had one person tell me, just one, that just outside of the, what's the radiation belt? The
Van Allen.
Van Allen belt, that there is allegedly a UFO war going on out there that the satellites up here are monitoring. Do I buy that or not? I take it with an extreme grain of salt. But this person is a government official. And that doesn't mean that they're telling me the truth.
No.
Doesn't mean that whatsoever. But it was in private conversation, and I think it may have been one of those points where they're seeing how much BS can I put through this guy who's wrapped in tinfoil.
Right.
Your thoughts, Tim?
I'm not sure. I really don't. My brain's kind of like, I'm still trying to wrap my head around what you were saying. I really don't have an opinion on that yet. At least anything valid, that's for sure.
How about you, Rob?
I would probably say this. I'd say we probably, unless there's some proof that can be pointed to, I don't think we have any proof that there is a current war going on, or that there was ever a war going on. I think what we can say is that we know that there, at the very least, are different species of extraterrestrial that are supposedly visiting here. Now, question being, do they get along with each other? Now, that's to be determined, but I'd say the potential is there for that, but I would need to see something, some sort of evidence to actually go there and say that it's happening, or that it ever did happen.
Good call.
Mm-hmm.
Good call. Let's go to Super Crazy here. If you had security clearance to view classified materials, would you break the law to reveal UFO-related secrets to the world? I'll take this one last. Tim?
Yep.
You would?
I would.
Why?
Because I would. I'm not that guy. I mean, first of all, I think that answers it. I'm not that guy. If we're talking, I mean, Rob wants to tell me something in secrecy, that's totally different. That's different. But if I knew that just it's me, if I knew that the people that I was working for were completely BSing and spoofing the troops and telling everybody lies, and this isn't happening, I don't think I could do it. I'd either have to quit and walk away. And even with the knowledge that I had, the classified knowledge, I think I'd risk it. I would. I'd spill the beans. I think I would.
I'll enjoy sending you Christmas presents in jail.
Yeah. No. Well, I just 5 to the back, right?
Rob, how about you?
I'm with Tim on this. I would definitely do it because you got to side with humanity. You got to side with humanity because you're in the government. You still have to have grandchildren, and they may not decide to go into government. They may just be regular citizens. So you have to think for them. They're going to be here, and would the world be a better place if you shut your mouth and didn't say anything, or would it be a better place if you came out and helped the narrative, right? So I'm with Tim on that. I don't care what they do. Sometimes it takes that one person to kind of, take it on the chin for the rest of humanity. Sometimes you got to do that. There's history of people that have done that. And sometimes you have to be willing to step out there and be that guy.
I'm the opposite.
No, that's all right. That's what
I would not be a good
whistleblower.
I would not be a good prisoner.
Oh, I see.
I would not be a good prisoner whatsoever. And I don't like confined spaces.
No, I get it.
And I would be one of these guys who probably ends up in the loony bin over it. But I understand the plight.
Sure.
I think hypothetically, if they walked in or walked up to me and said, Dave, we're going to show you this, I would probably have to say goodbye to SOR. I really would, because I know I couldn't say anything, and this is my venue to tell the truth. And I know that if I couldn't tell the truth to what I knew, then there's no point in me being behind the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
I totally would have to be able to share my feelings, but it happens.
Yeah.
NDAs can be circumvented if the law is being broken, like they're not valid at that point. And you would have to think humanity would have your back, Dave. They'd be at the prison there chanting and marching to get you out, and you would be released.
Yeah, I understand with what you're saying. I do. However, I don't know how that got moved.
I don't know.
But I understand exactly what you're saying. But hanging out with a bunch of men for the rest of my life really doesn't interest me. It really doesn't. And like I said, I don't like being confined.
Fair enough.
I really do not like being confined. So I just leave it at that. Let's go to Joe. Rob, how fast can you run? I'm asking for your next Sasquatch encounter.
I was the fastest kid in my school, and I would show you. I don't care. Weight won't matter in this moment. You never lose that foot coordination, and I'll be up out of there, man. I'll be the first one out of there for sure. And I would not know what happened to the people behind me because I'm not looking back. I would just hope Dave is okay and Tim is okay. And we'd find out at least by the next day if everything worked out.
We're going to know exactly where you are, because it's going to happen one of two ways, Rob. You're either going to have a trail of toilet paper following you, so we're going to be able to find you, or more likely, okay, if you start running away, abandon Tim and I, we're going to have to pop you in the leg. And then as we're doing our speed walking, okay, that us old guys do.
That's right.
All right. Back in the younger days, they called it jogging or yogging or something like that. Okay. We're going to pass you, and you're going to end up in Sasquatch.
What happened to Rob?
Here's what you got to learn. When you see the black guy run, you might want to run. You might want to run.
You know what? Run. I'm going to take you up on that, because there's one thing that I know. Mm-hmm. If you watch every horror movie ever made, it's the stupid white people who just keep on going.
Hey, what's behind that curtain of chainsaws?
Okay. The blacks, the Hispanic, okay.
Oh, yeah.
The Asians, they all get the hell out of there. They know that something bad's going to happen.
That's right.
Okay. But it's the stupid white people that just keep going. Oh, well, let's go see what's behind this door. No.
Did you hear that noise in the cellar? I'm by myself. I should go check it out.
Right.
Right. Rob is already at the McDonald's grabbing a burger at 1:00 in the morning, and that McDonald's is like 6 miles away, and he had no car to get there.
That's exactly.
Okay. We're going to check out the basement.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's terrible.
Facts.
Terrence is wondering, question for all three.
Uh-oh.
What are your thoughts about what is really going on? The government seems nervous. You guys all rock. Thank you for the love, Terrence. Rob, we'll take your question on that.
What are your thoughts about what is really going on? The government seems nervous. Yeah, they should be nervous, because they know we already have all the evidence that we need to know that this is real. We just don't have the bodies and know where the craft are at, and we don't have the craft, but we have people that are coming forward right now that are about to tell us where those things are. So then we have everything in that moment. So I think that they should be nervous. And then because once we have that person from the inside, like a Tim James is gonna just tell it all because he's gonna do it for humanity. And there are people like that in the government that just haven't come forward yet. I think in that moment, we find out all the other things that they've done. Just think of the things that have been confirmed, the whole syphilis experiments, just all the things that we know they've done, horrible things. You can imagine there's a whole bunch more that we don't know. And if this comes, we're going to know. So they should be nervous, very nervous.
I tend to think that I think they're nervous, and I'll agree with Rob on that. But I think there is more pressure to make this conversation go away. We saw that in 2023 when the United States Navy said they're not talking about UAPs or UFOs or whatever you want to call them anymore. They're not releasing any more videos. Okay, they're just done with it all. They're done with the conversation. And I think that the drip on the tap is slowly being turned off. Well, every time they turn it off a little bit, the worry is that there's people out there who are turning the tap back on a little bit more. I think they're just sick of the conversation. They're sick of having to discuss it. They're sick of the FOIA requests. They're sick of the press conferences. They're tired of Lou Elizondo. They're tired of David Grush. They just want it all to go away. They're wanting Congress to shut up. You notice Congress is no longer calling military officials or hasn't called any military officials on this yet. Why not? They're the ones covering it up. Now, maybe there's a law down there that I don't understand of why military officials are not being called in. If this is such an issue and such a visual threat, I don't get it. Tim?
Yeah, I'm thinking they're nervous, and I'm basically both of you guys covered it. I think that, it's when there's a difference between that one vigilante that comes knocking on your door going, I'm here to, question and find out what's going on. But then when you got the mob, and I mean by the mob, for lack of a better term, I'm talking it's become so much more mainstream. We can talk about it. You're not labeled as a goofball, or you're not nuts. I think that those avenues have opened up over years and years, and I think now people are more comfortable with it. You're right, the government's going, oh no, now we've got, instead of, like I said, the one guy knocking on your door, you've got hundreds of thousands of people going, what are you guys doing? They're going to run out of lies at some point, and they've got to come up with something, and I think that's part of the nervousness as well, right? They can't hide it forever, but they can do their best. That's for sure.
I think we got time for one more question here. We got about 3 minutes to go before we have to say goodnight. And let's go to Paramarv here, who is asking, I heard a rumor that you're going to have a seance on air for Halloween in an effort to contact Art Bell on the other side. Can you confirm? Oh, I wish. I got to convince Sweet Robbie G to host on Halloween night first. I do. I gotta go. I got my final ghost tour of the year that night. So do you.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, man. You already know, dude. You already know.
I know.
I can do a spectacular special, man. It's all good.
Nice.
All right, let's move on to one more here. Polly is asking, Dave, what is your most compelling ET incident? My personal one would be the UFO landing. And then 5 days later, the aliens in the forest, or the alien. Yeah, there was two. I only saw the one.
How about Spot 2?
No, this was in 2014.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Spot 2 would have been the next one, but that would be my my personal belief for my compelling evidence. Do I have evidence of it? No. No, I don't film anything. It's for me. But if we went into the field, I would say, to me, the most compelling evidence for UFOs, if we focus on that, would be Travis Walton or Stefan Michalek from the Falcon Lake incident. Evidence on both, and lots of it. How about you, Rob?
Most compelling ET incident. So just not personal, just asking of all incidents. I would have to say there's a few on my list, man. I can never get past the aerial school and the Westall school. Anything that had multiple experiencers, they saw the craft, they saw these things get out of the craft that weren't human. I mean, done deal, case closed right there. I don't know if there's anything more, in your face than that right there. So I don't know. That's what I would go with.
That's a good one. 45 seconds for you, Tim.
I'm so new to this. I don't have anything compelling yet. I'm like everything I read and everything that I take in. I mean, obviously history wise with UFOs and encounters and stuff. Definitely everything right now to me is like a filet mignon. It's like, this is awesome. So, I mean, really right now I'm just eating it all up. So I don't have anything compelling. I'm still working on something that I think happened to me as a kid, and I haven't delved into that, but I think that's the direction that would be most interesting for me at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's incredible on both ends. I mean, there's a lot of good stories out there. Will we ever get the real hardcore story like we got with the history stories like Travis Walton or Betty and Barney Hill or anything? I don't think so, due to the social media aspect of it all, but let's just go with it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good experiences out there. We just got to give people the confidence to tell them.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Tim, for a great show tonight. As we say hello, Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Ball, rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio. Rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat room tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, Space Travelers Club, and on X. Hashtag Spaced Out Radio.
I know you're out there somewhere.
Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
don't make a mistake. We're watching.
we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night. I'm done.
Boom.
You're done.
That was a
All
lot
right.
of fun.
We still have some audience questions, and I'm going to ask them.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think that's only fair while I'm editing all of this. Just let me get this started here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good job, Sweets.
Anytime, buddy.
You had the chin hair rolling tonight, man.
That was awesome.
Good, high quality chin hair rolling tonight, man.
I was drinking my coffee during the break. It's kind of podcasty, right, when I do that.
Well, that happens. All right. Bear with me. There we go. Figured out my memory problem on my computer, Rob. Thanks to Tim.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
What happened?
Dude.
I had audio files in there for the last 76 years.
Like, I don't even know how many gigs it was. It was like, oh, Yeah, there was a lot.
I eliminated more than half of.
Yeah, got his memory down to half. I was like,
Oh, dude. Oh, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's expected. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, no.
I'm an idiot. when it comes to
It's
computers.
yeah, yeah. You said it. I didn't, but yeah, I mean,
Oh, no, it's true.
you kind of don't know much about the computer you're sitting in
no,
front
I
of.
don't. No, I don't. Oh, boy, this came out hot. This came out hot.
I used to be a troubleshooter for Apple, right? And I used to do that all the time over the phone and deal with customers like Dave, you know, who just didn't know what was what, and you kind of direct them around and you teach them, and then they learn. Did you pick anything up, Dave, from the experience?
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Keep an eye on the files that you're downloading and get rid of them when you don't.
The folder that he found. You should at least know where that is.
Yeah, found that now.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Polly. We read that one. Dave, do you plan on doing a fan party of an SOR type event in Canada? As of right now, no, I do not. I'm up in the air with a lot of the fan party things right now. You know what? I'll just be blunt. I think that's just the best way to do it. I have no problem spending money on SOR, and the fan party costs me a lot of money. It really, you know, without sounding rude, it really costs me a lot of money. I'm not going to say what that amount is, but it's well over $2,000. And we only had in Reno, I think 9 or 10 listeners show up. Excuse me. The rest of the audience was our special guests who I invited to be with you guys. And I realized that 2014 was a tough year financially for a lot of people. I don't think that putting it in Reno was a good thing, but we wanted to try it.
Sure, why not?
And but last year really put me behind an 8-ball. And so I don't think I'm going to be doing a fan party in 2025. If I do anything, I will all of a sudden give you guys a bunch of notice that a bunch of us SOR people are going to be heading to Vegas for a certain weekend. And yes, it will be in Las Vegas. And whoever wants to come can come. But as for an official fan party with T-shirts and special things going on, I just cannot afford to do that on my own right now. And to go, our first year we had 62 listeners there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Our second year we had 50. Well, we had about 45 listeners.
Still worth it.
Last year we had, sorry, if I said 2014, I meant 2024. This year we had about 9 or 11. And that really opened my eyes because give you an example. It cost me $1,200 for the T-shirts.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you have to build up the swag bags and flights, accommodations,
sure.
and you have to rent it cost me, you got to realize, like, with the Canadian dollar the way it is compared to the American right now, for every dollar that I spend in Canadian money, it costs me, for every American dollar I spend, it cost me $1 at that time, $1.39.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So our dollar was like at 61 cents or 62 cents to the American dollar. And so it cost me almost double what Las Vegas did in just getting the setup. So when I'm getting, and I have to cover it because we're doing it for the fans and everything, I don't mind doing that.
Yeah.
but when I have more special guests there than I do, who've come to hang out with the fans,
Yeah.
who bring their books, who bring their their t-shirts and
Their merch.
their merch.
Yeah.
And out of our tens of thousands of listeners that we have, I get 11.
Yeah.
And we had been promoting it for 8 months.
That's hard.
And look, I understand it's been a horrible, horrible year economy wise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Reno also is not user friendly to get to.
No.
Lord knows I know that firsthand after having my flight delayed for 2.5 hours and then missing my flight. Our place that we ever choose the fan party to restart it, it will never be in a place where you have to get connectors.
Exactly.
Okay.
Direct flights.
Direct flights only. So that is part of the issue. I don't see us doing a fan party next year. Like even when I've kind of done the statistics, and I know Rob's going to disagree with me on this, that's quite okay. But in my memory mind, there's a difference between the one thing that I've learned through doing the fan party for 3 years is that there's a real difference between people who say they're coming and
Right.
people who show up.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to say they're coming, but you know what? And everybody may have the right intention
Sure.
that they want to come, and I'm appreciative of that. But there also is a reality too.
Yeah.
Hotel rooms are getting stupid expensive everywhere. Everywhere. Hotel rooms are horribly expensive. Okay. Thank you, T-Bone. Very much appreciate
Well,
that.
we could all just stay at Rob's place and then road trip.
Because I'm not too far from Vegas. I go there all the time, buddy.
So, I mean, it's more about hotels are getting
Sure.
expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Flights to Vegas are still relatively cheap. Okay. But then you have to find a venue that isn't going to charge you an arm and a leg
Mhm.
for 5-6 hours.
Yeah.
And we had the Golden Nugget until they started all their little fees started adding up.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So then we thought, okay, let's move to Reno. Got a real good deal on the room in Reno.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fees started adding up.
Yeah, of course.
Right. And I think Reno for me, if I say this on a personal level, I don't mean this as a shot to our audience, so please don't take it that way. But it was very embarrassing for me in Reno when we had more special guests show up than we did fans.
Yeah,
That one hurt.
I can imagine.
And so.
But I will say, Dave, we did do it on Mother's Day weekend.
Oh,
and that's
I'm
a big
saying that-
part right there.
Oh, I understand that. I fully understand that. Fully understand and comprehend that. I know, but I also know that there was we missed out on about 20 people who I know 7 of them drove up from Arizona for the first 2, and others lived in the areas that were easier to get to Vegas than the 8-9 hour drive more to Reno. We didn't do ourselves any favors by doing it on Mother's Day weekend. So I am not planning on doing a fan party in 2025. If that changes, it will be later in the year, probably around end of September, mid-September. It'll be after the Labor Day weekend, but I don't see us doing it right now.
Yeah, you probably save some money in not peak season, obviously.
Give me 2 seconds here. I thought I've had a couple listeners recently message. That actually sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So that's the idea of the fan party. And I know it's not of a lack of want. I know Rob really wants to do something. I really want to do something. We enjoy hanging out with the people and our listeners. I mean, trust me, it's a blast. It really is a blast. And don't think for a second, guys, it also gives the SOR team a chance to actually meet. Like that's how I met, with meeting Rob last year or earlier this year, I should say, was incredible. It is. He's one of the best dudes you could meet, and I got to tug his chin hair.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're not so bad yourself, Dave. You're a great guy, man. Great, cool guy. Everybody was Kira, everyone. Jessica.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Jim Goodall.
So, I mean, Joe, what's this? Joe, don't call Lavira Vera, okay? Her name's Lavira. Be better. Be better. It's the first time seeing that, Lavira, so bad, Joe. Bad. Cut your hair.
But like I said, things could change, right?
You want to get back at Joe Monk? Just threatened to cut his hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's like 6'9" and like 300 pounds.
Yeah. You don't want me to pull this car over.
Yeah. Exactly it.
So, but you said that that's not for surely off the table 100%, right? Just to be clear, it could maybe happen.
If it does happen, it'll be later on in the year. It's not going to happen in spring. I just don't see it happening. And if we do it this year, it's just going to be one of those things, or in 2025, it's going to be one of those things where it's like, hey, I'm going to be here. Rob's coming up to meet me. We're taking a weekend off SOR. And if you want to come hang out with us, just let us know and come.
Yeah.
But as for doing like a live radio show and hauling the technology down there and the extra cost on baggage and handling and all that, and worrying if you got the right cables and internet connection from the hotel and everything along those lines, I'm just not into it right now. And I don't, I can't lack of a better term, I can't justify the cost, especially when I haven't taken my family on a vacation in a long time. I mean, we went to Whistler last year for a few days.
That's cool.
But
yeah,
that was my first holiday. Last year in 2023 was my first holiday in 12 years.
Damn.
Yeah. Because the fan party for me is not a holiday.
No, you're working.
I tried to make it a holiday that first time that we did it, and a bunch of bullshit, pardon my language, happened there. And I figured, you know what? I realized that going into year 2 that I would have to be a little bit more square. And I'm not allowed to relax at them.
Right.
So year 3 was the same way.
Oh.
That you just have to, because it's business. We're not there for fun. SOR is there for business.
Of course.
And the business is meeting our listeners and meeting our special guests and all this kind of stuff. So it's just one of those things where it's a sensitive subject for me right now because I feel like I'm letting some of our listeners down. But I just can't see us doing it.
Right.
I can't. But we'll keep you know what? I'm not saying never, but I'm hoping, but I don't know. All right. Do I plan on doing an event in Canada? No, not right now. Let's go to Tony in the UK. What are you guys' thoughts about the hypothesis of plasma being an intelligent life form living in the thermostrophic atmosphere, as stated in recent paper written by academics?
Yeah, I'm there. I talked about that too a couple weeks ago about the I think it's the space station or the shuttle video where it shows that 13-mile tether that it broke off. It was floating off through space, and they had all these little orbs that were kind of swarming it, and they were trying to say that it was like ice particles that were tumbling through space, but they seemed to be intelligent. And then someone had a theory that that those the plasma life, there's life to those plasma objects, and they might live in the upper stratosphere. And I was like, wow, you know what? That can make sense, and that could explain why some of these things seem biological in their movements. And yeah, I'm with that. I'm on board.
I'm just going to be honest with you. I have no clue.
Yeah, no.
I have no clue whatsoever.
Yeah, I heard little bits and pieces about it, but yeah, that goes way past what I have in my brain right now. It's like, man, that's
I have a very low, or how can I put this with sounding insultive to myself?
Oh, yeah, I get it.
I have a high level of incompetence in understanding science and physics and plasma and radiation and Van Allen belts and rocketry and all that. I'm very envious of the brainiacs who get that. I don't even feel comfortable giving an answer on that because I honestly do not know. I'm dodging that one.
Yeah, and I was super impressed with Rob's answer. I was like, oh, right on.
Yeah, Rob. Thanks for embarrassing us.
No, here, look.
I know, my God. Look at those stupid Canadians, he says.
I'm just, I watch a lot of stuff and I look into a lot of stuff, but just look at this. So you know how they look up through those night vision goggles and they see, and it's all this activity up there, and it's just things moving around and stuff like that. Those would be the same objects, but there's a theory that they come into the atmosphere, they go out right out into space as well, and that the actual plasma objects are alive, like they're living things. And that's kind of the theory they're kicking around right now.
Interesting.
Thank you. I feel dumber again.
Ah, that's cool though. I like that. That's neat.
Yeah, you guys can go have your tea party over that one. I'll be at the bar with a beer.
I'll send you a link on it and you can read it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Michael Fontaine, Dave, what was your question about new guests? Who's Sandy Diva? I don't know who that is.
Never heard.
Well, let's Google it.
True. There we go. Yeah.
Because everything.
Hey, if you have any guest suggestions for either Rob or myself, you can always push them to bookings at spacedoutradio.com. Bookings at spacedoutradio.com. The beauty of it is, look, there are certain people out there that are not going to be a good interview for me, but they're going to be an amazing interview for Rob, and vice versa. You know, that like Rob brings a whole different level of knowledge and smarts to the game than I do on a lot of stuff. And so the highly technical, like plasma theory questions like that, that's a good guess for Rob, man. Because he's smart that way. I am not. I have no problem admitting that.
You're a smart guy, Dave.
Oh, I'm smart in other ways. You know, like what sports are real.
Definitely not hockey, so maybe you're wrong. Maybe you're really not. It's just little baby mouse. To facilitate if the ETs contact us. That sounds a little hot.
That's right. We'll make it. Yeah, we're all smart in different ways, and like I said, the science part of it,
yeah,
I don't get it.
No,
I really don't. It's not my strength or my interest, to be blunt, but that's just me. All right, let's go to Simon. Dave, is your dad and partner cool with you being a conductor of the Woo train? Yes. There is one person, though, that is not.
Uh-oh.
And that would be my son.
Huh?
My son is really starting to resent the radio show. Because all he sees me do is work.
Yeah.
And it's very, very hard for me because I do my daytime job and then I come here and I do my nighttime job. And probably for the last 3-4 months, especially, every night I get asked, do you have to do the radio show tonight? Do you have to do the radio show tonight? Do you have to do the radio show tonight? And I say, yes, I do. It's part of Dad's job. So that's a big reality check for me. And it's tough. You know, he understands it, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
Let's see. So that's probably the hard one. Is my boy. You know, he wants nighttime dad time. You know, he wants me there to help put him to bed. He wants me there to say goodnight. He wants me there. And I haven't done that in 10 years. It's rare that I do. And now it's getting to that point. So
Yeah. Understood. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we talked about some stuff that could probably alleviate some of that, right? So
yeah, well, that's what we're working on, right?
yeah.
So I don't mean that to be a downer, but I'm just being blunt.
No, yeah. Realistic, true.
Let's go back to Simon. Where's the next fan party? Drew Banky's house, please. That'd be a party. Be a lot of hippie lettuce there.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
A lot of the devil's sponge.
A little ayahuasca, DMT, all that good stuff.
Eli, question: will you re-invite Nicole to talk about the Forbidden program soon? Yes, I'm going to see if I can get her on Thursday to talk about it. I have to check with her. I was hoping to hear back from her tonight. Excuse me, she's still working. Yes. Paramarv is saying, if you ever get the social dig with Mr. Rob G up there to look for Bigfoot, please make sure Samantha Mowat is available so he can meet aliens too. He needs that experience. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Let's make it happen.
Sweet Robbie G going to have some Sweet Robbie P in his pants when the aliens show up.
If they let me into Canada. Now, let's see if they let me into Canada first.
Mm-hmm. Why would they not let you into Canada, Rob?
Yeah, I don't know. You guys have different rules. You guys are not you guys.
You get to the border and they pull out the Robbie G dossier.
Yeah.
Rob
Rob doesn't like hockey. Eh?
It's your age.
Yeah, there you go, right there. That'd be one reason not to let me in.
Rob's been insulting the Canadian game.
There you go.
Yeah, well, that's Rob. Maybe you want to just turn back home and go get a season ticket for the Bakersfield Condors for a while. Okay.
Oh yeah, you got me. You got me.
Figure out what the red line is first, Rob, before you make your way to Canada.
You got me. I would fail horribly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Commonwealth Andrew, good morning to you. Is time travel a real thing?
That'd be cool.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I totally think it is. And if it isn't, I don't care. I want to believe it.
I do too, I think. Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah.
See, that goes up with my immortal conversation earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is these time travelers. Even if we don't have it now,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure we probably have it in the future.
I would suggest, yeah.
And there are scientists who believe right now that we could do. It's possible.
Right.
We just may not have the technology that we know of to get there to do it. So I don't know if we're actually going to be, or I would assume once again, personal opinion here. I would assume that there are time travelers here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And maybe, like according to Dr. Michael Masters, maybe those time travelers are us, like the UFOs and the aliens are us from the future.
That's right. You never know.
Your thoughts, Robbie?
I interviewed Walter Bosley on that, and he had an interesting perspective on it. Time travel, not in the means that we would think about getting in a machine and going back in time, but time traveling through consciousness, just kind of feeling the part, like putting on the clothes of the era and then like waking up in that time sort of thing. Like you know, just a totally different outlook on it. So I thought that was pretty awesome. But I would want, if time travel was a real thing, I'd want it to be more like Back to the Future. I want to hop in the DeLorean, capacitor, dial up the date, hit 88 and go.
Yep.
I agree with you there.
That would be cool.
You know, using a food processor instead of 1.21 gigawatts. Right?
Yeah.
My goodness. That's it for our audience questions, man.
All right.
That's cool beans.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man. That's it for our audience questions. We're done after that one. We are done. Unless there's any more that have snuck in. I don't think so.
No, doesn't look like it.
I don't think so. Sweets. We'll see you next time, buddy.
Yeah, you will. Anytime, man. Other than that, I guess I'll be back Saturday. You guys come out to the after hours. Make sure you're checking out the show. Hit the notification bell. Forget who we have, but it's gonna be awesome. So be there.
You're the best, buddy. Appreciate
See you, Robbie.
You too, man. No problem. You guys take care, man. Out of here.
On behalf of Tim and myself, I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. It was a little bit different than what we normally do, but we're going to get to it here again. And Rob, I know he just left.
Rob gone.
See you later. We're gone. Thank you to T-Bone, W. David Page, Lovely Lavira, Joe, that's Cosmic Joe, Deborah Rooney ×2. Tomorrow night on the show, Chris Reinhardt will be here from Discover Sasquatch. We'll talk to you soon, everybody.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.